Alrighty, my friends. Welcome to a new week. Good times. Good times. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to normal camera quality. Actually, I think I might be out of... Hold up. Oh! Ah! My camera didn't used to do that. God, what a horrible camera. So, this camera used to zoom in when it would focus, and then it stopped doing that for probably a solid 8 months, and then it just did that for the first time while I was on live. So, welcome to the close-up of my face. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another week. It's Monday. We are... Oh, man. We got an exciting week ahead. There's a lot of stuff to go over. We're done with CitizenCon mostly, but now we're starting the CitizenCon follow-up, and that's going to start first with a little watch over of Star Citizen Live yesterday. But I got more plans for you. Don't worry about that. Welcome everybody. I appreciate the raid to start us off from my man Tom. Good to see you, dude. Welcome, 07's buddy. Welcome in everybody who just came from that raid. Recently met Tom. Let me tell you. Recently met this guy Tom at CitizenCon and had the bomb with Tom. No, it was a good time though. He's one of the many great faces we got to meet at CitizenCon, and since then gotten to talk a couple times and actually joined us on the podcast over the weekend. Anybody who didn't get to jump into that, join us. Greenhouse Podcast, great place. It'll be going up live later this week. Mrs. Tomato will be publishing that goodness to you on the second channel, so keep an eye out. Community opinions on how Star Citizen is doing, and keep an eye out for next episode. We'll be doing a final episode of the year kind of thing across every podcast. We'll be doing kind of we'll be doing regular sort of, this is how the year went, this is what we think of next year. We do it at the end of every year. If you are interested actually in going and seeing a bunch of like different creators and what they thought was going to happen this year, I would check out last year's podcast episodes in December, but you don't have to do that because we'll be doing it again this year. So a lot of different opinions, a lot of what might be coming up and how this year went. So keep an eye out for all the different podcasts for that. Speaking of which, there is a new podcast episode out this morning with Void Dude, a big favorite of a lot of folks. Any of you who were with me live on Saturday may know that we were doing that show live. I'd like to apologize. That was rough. I'm going to explain to you what happened. Now, this isn't a normal problem. I don't have these very often, but I feel it is worth explaining. Normally, we do these podcasts for our supporters. You guys know that. I say that all the time. If you're a... Can you stop hyping me up so much, please? Sorry, let me just change this up. There we go. If you are a supporter of us on any platform, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, whatever it is, and you like the podcast, you can actually come join us live for it. You can ask questions to the podcaster, to the guest. You can also hang out and hear our before and after podcast discussions. It's a good time. Basically, normally, that'll be streamed into Discord to supporters. We don't normally do it live, but on Saturday we did it live, and for some reason, my graphic card had trouble with recording it, streaming it to you guys, and streaming it to Discord. So when we switched over from the greenhouse to that podcast, it seems to have done something wrong with OBS. So sorry about that, guys. If you were there on the stream on Saturday, that episode is now up live on our second YouTube channel, and problems have been remediated. Honestly, a 3080 Ti, you don't think it would have that kind of problem, but you never know. When is the hot chocolate competition? Christmas, of course. Greenhouse Podcast episode 4 will be available on YouTube on Wednesday. Yay, Greenhouse. All right, guys. So today we have a follow-up on the UI team. We got a lot of very good news from CitizenCon. Hold on, let me actually kick this off. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. So we got a lot of very good news at CitizenCon regarding UI. We actually got a lot of good news regarding quite a few things, but UI, I think specifically, UI and FPS features were, in my opinion, some of the biggest, widest reaching things that we saw. So it's nice that the first Star Citizen Live that we're getting back, they're diving straight into the good stuff. They've brought on the UI team, some of the very people, actually all of the very people we saw on stage, to answer questions about, obviously, some of the stuff we saw. Now, I'm guessing this will be a rocky road because Star Citizen Live is always a rocky road, but I'm appreciative that we are getting more news on this stuff so quickly afterward because it's going to clarify probably some of our follow-up questions. How do you enter the hot chocolate competition? My friend, I need to make it first. Y'all are ahead of me. It sounds magical, though. Can't wait. All right. Now we're going to be slowly moving through this. As always, we'll be stopping and going, talking, insulting. No insults. But we will be talking and joking and discussing and all that jazz. So kick back, relax, skip through if you'd like to see some of the more interesting bits. But if you're here for a discussion and a good time, then settle in. This should be good. I'm going to go ahead and let it play out for the intro, and then we'll get into the first questions and get started. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's always a good time. Let me know if the audio is low, and let's get into it.
Hi everybody, we're back. It's been a long hiatus for that little thing we like to call CitizenCon. Welcome to Star Citizen Live. What did I call this show? CitizenCon 2953, follow-up part 1, the UI and resource management people. We're probably gonna have to shorten that for the thumbnail. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of our week and we chat with the wonderful developers who make our 2 games, Star Citizen and Squadron 42, possible. We've been offline for the last roughly 6 or 7 weeks. I don't know, nobody ever looked at Jared and said that guy knows how to read a calendar. To prepare for our big 2-day event, CitizenCon, out in Los Angeles. You just saw our might have seen our behind the, ooh, I got a text message, hold on. Domino's is offering 25% off garlic sticks. Where was I? I don't remember where I was, but it's muted now. We're back, everybody. Our 2-day event in Los Angeles. You might have seen yesterday's behind-the-scenes episode of Inside Star Citizen, giving a look at some of the things that went into putting that together, at least in the last days when, leading up to it. On this show today, and for the next several weeks, actually, we are going to be doing a series of presentation follow-ups with members of the teams.
Oh, for the next 7 weeks, dude. That's the kind of forbidden words that you just don't get from CIG very often. I hope they stick to that because that's good stuff. If we're going to get actual talking point Q&As about everything we saw, that once again, they're following up CitizenCon. Breaking precedent. That's great. I hope that they stick to that, and I hope we get some good info out of that.
CitizenCon. Up first this week is members from our esteemed user interface team, UI team. Do you guys have a team? Is it like the Rad Cobras or something? Do you guys have a team name? Anyway, Zane, Emily, Bone, and Simon. How you doing, everybody?
Hello.
Hello.
Good.
So answer that first question. Is it just the UI team, or do you guys have cool?
We're actually 3 different teams.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, walk me through that.
Zane and I are on the UI tech team.
Okay.
And
So I'm on the Squadron 42 UI art and design team for now.
and Emily.
The Squadron 42 feature team.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Dr. Emily, Buff Guy, Bone, Mrs. Tomato. Do we not have a name for him? Forbidden words are the most typey words. We need another nickname. Also, she's just
Simon,
Emily.
for now, you hang dangling over.
I think things
Bone
are
and
very
muscles.
fluid all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows?
We love them though.
Folks have. I think folks have seen through the messaging of CitizenCon and through some stuff they may have seen through the monthly report and everything. Yes, we are rearranging some development resources at the moment, moving a lot of folks back over onto the Precision Universe now that Squadron 42 is feature complete. So we're excited. That's was a big part of the CitizenCon messaging, was looking at all of these things that have been done or created for Squadron 42 and are now about to begin making their journey to the Precision Universe over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, depending on what it is and
Okay,
how well
so
things go.
see, now we heard that last year. That's not breaking precedent. We heard that Squadron 42 features were going to be coming into Star Citizen over the next year last year. So I'm not inclined to really depend on that line. I mean, and I'm gonna believe, I guess, what we're seeing, which is the work does look better. It does look like it's more ready to get into the game. But until it starts getting into the game, I think that's kind of one of those CIG things. That being said, the whole moving people over from Squadron 42 is music to, I think, all of our ears. Like, it's what we've been asking for a long time. I hope we get more detailed info on how many people. I guess since they said several weeks coming up, they're going to be having people on. I hope every one of these people that comes onto this show is like, yeah, so I am either still working on Squadron 42 or I have transitioned to Star Citizen. So that'll give us a lot better idea of actually how many people have moved over. Obviously, it's not indicative of the whole company. It's a big freaking company. But we're going to be seeing some of the bigger names that we know here. Yeah, that being said, let's continue.
You four constituted our Navigating the Universe presentation at CitizenCon. We've collected some questions from the community, and we're going to jump into those for a few minutes. But because this is really the first time we've had to chat since we got back, how was your experience? Did you enjoy CitizenCon this year? Did you run into any crazy stalkers? Tell me what it was like from your perspective, because I was just running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Buff guy.
I thought it was really cool because it's the first CitizenCon I've actually been to in real life. So presentation we did was a bit scary, but after that, getting to meet the backers and just see the show and everything, it was really nice because when you sat at your computer all the time just making new stuff and thinking, oh, it's full of bugs, or we got to fix, or we got to get it done on time, you don't really see people that appreciate the end result. So that was really cool.
Anyone else?
Yeah, superb. I loved it. It's super exciting. And it's weirdly, I get to see loads of bits. It's like a really extravagant show and tell for us as well. You get to see bits of the game that from other teams that I've not seen. So I'd not seen the Hold the Line video. I deliberately held it back. And then when I watched it, I was quite emotional, sat at the back of the...
I'm actually curious, based on what he just said about it being like a exceptional show and tell. A lot of the complaints or problems that people were foreseeing themselves having or have had with previous Citizen Cons was that they said that the segments felt like just large, fancier Inside Star Citizens. And curious of two things for you guys in chat, or you in the comments if you're watching this later. Is that a bad thing? Is a larger, bigger Inside Star Citizen a bad thing? And do you feel like that's what we saw this year at CitizenCon? Or do you feel like they went above and maybe further than that? Because I'm always curious as to what people mean by that, or rather, what more they would like than like an Inside Star Citizen, considering Inside Star Citizens tend to just kind of show progress. Depends on the episode. Well, that's the thing. It's like, if you call it an Inside, just imagine your best Inside Star Citizen episode. Jared himself said that sitcom was 50 plus ISCs. That's how I've always thought about it. At least that it should be. Yeah, depends on the episode, but I would say your best episode of ISC, if they could do 5 of those for CitizenCon, I think that's solid. You think it's a waste of time and money, but that's your opinion of it? Yeah, but look how much money they just made because of this CitizenCon. You think it gives all the devs a chance to be seen, heard, and take a bow? Your only disagreement with how much they held for so long. That's fair. What else would you want besides a big ISC? I don't know. Just about what subject you care about personally. Yeah, I mean, it could feel like a complete waste even though they went over big things if you don't care about those big things. So the 100% concept art things, yeah. But that's a different complaint, right? Like that's a complaint that they're showing concept art and concepts, different from saying it's an inside Star Citizen, which generally aren't. Nice to have a system revealed each year during this event. Wowzers, that'd be wild. This CitizenCon restored some hype in the game. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot to be said about public sentiment, funding, and even more general sentiment in the gaming industry after this kind of CitizenCon. They would make just as much money during a live stream of panels from Manchester. No. They wouldn't have sold all the merch that they sold when they were there, dude. They sold thousands. They sold so much freaking money. I mean, it's not worth ships, but I feel like you're forgetting how much goodwill it brings to be in person, and also how much the hype and excitement that it creates and the loudness that it creates matters. Because they had plenty to show over the last few years, all digital, and they didn't really show up quite like this. You love it, you just want that new paint on the 890. You have a jaded answer. Your biggest issue with the sitcoms has always been they're pre-built with time taken away from actual development. You're happy they're showing real stuff. Yeah. It defo gave the community a place to socialize and be hyped. It was a fantastic event. Would not have been the same if it was online, in your opinion. Mrs. Tomato would know. She was kind of at the center of a lot of it. At least the after party parts. We had a lot of fun with people at the event, like outside of the panels. It was a lot of fun. They sold a bunch of money. Yeah, let's get back to the video. Just curious of your guys' opinion there.
Really, really exciting. So, weirdly, I enjoyed it as a participant as much as being involved in the actual show as well.
I think it was really cool just to be able to show off what we've been working on, and I'm pretty proud of that, and I was just really excited to show that map feature. Mm-hmm. I've actually lost quite a bit of sleep on the lead up to CitizenCon. Mm-hmm. So I actually wasn't really feeling too well at the actual event, but I think adrenaline was taking care of that anyway.
Yeah, adrenaline tends to carry us through. Like I think there's a number of people who went crashing down right afterwards, me included. Emily, what was your CitizenCon like besides bossing Boner in?
Yeah, I enjoyed doing that. Yeah, it was really cool. Like I've never really done anything at that sort of scale before, and it was just really nice to finally show off the star map after I've been working on it for quite some time. So it's
the star map, the interior map, the Mobiglas. I mean, we've talked about this on and off over the years. I've been doing this for about a decade now. User interface is one of the only aspects of game development that touch every single other element. There's nothing that goes into either one of these games that doesn't have to go through you in some way, shape, or form. That you don't present some aspect of it, make some aspect of it usable, tangible, and stuff like this. So it can, as Zane said, it can lead to some long nights and some long hours and whatnot. But it was super exciting to me to finally be able to pull the curtain back, because we've been waiting to see so much of this stuff. And so as we jump into the questions, one of the first questions was, we don't usually do a one question, but I saw that you had these on there. Does all of the stuff have to wait till 4.0, or will some of the stuff that you showcased come in before the Magic and Fabled 4.0?
I love how the first question is a when question. We're just great at this.
So that question is just wait and see. But no, we're hoping to bring things in a bit at a time, so it won't be like a big lump of like, here's all the new features. So like when they're ready, they're going in, and they're going to be as ready as soon as possible. So we're all doing our best to get them actually from like been showcaseable to being production ready, so release status. So, which is still quite a jump, but we're doing our best.
Well, I imagine most of it is just as simple as take the step you did for Squadron, check the make multiplayer box, and it'll just work in Star Citizen, right?
No. In a word. Where'd you start?
I got a snort from Torsten in my ear.
I mean, just integrating the codes, a multi-day, multi-week problem, and then there's additional features for, let's say, the visor and the Mobiglas, which are obviously maybe not in Squadron, that are going to be in the PU, and then there's obviously different maps and different layouts, and also. Yeah. People can go anywhere and do anything, and like the combinations of stuff that people can do when they're playing the game all need to be tested and go through that.
Skydancer in the chat said that stuff looked pretty far along, and it is. It's as far along as we showed it at CitizenCon. But again, that was for the single player environment, and integrating it into the multiplayer environment will take the work of not just your team, but multiple QA teams and multiple other Precision Universe teams. You got to hook it into the mission system. You got to hook it into the the overall location system and stuff like this. So yeah, server meshing. And the replication layer, all things that aren't necessarily a part of the Squadron development, and you now need to take accounted for. That's not to scare anybody away and be like, you're not going to see this stuff in a year and whatnot, because I can already see the chat. It's just we want to be very forthcoming that this isn't stuff that's going to show up tomorrow, but it's not necessarily stuff that needs to wait until 4.0. You guys will tackle the work, and as the work is completed and ready and go, it'll go into the PU.
Yeah, we're not holding all of that we showed at CitizenCon back for the 4.0 release. When it's ready, it's ready.
When it's ready, it'll go in.
Mm-hmm. As team leads are planning that right now. I was talking to Jens earlier about, can we do this here and can that go there? So yeah, we're on the case as well. We're figuring out how soon we can get stuff.
And some of the things are out of this group's control as well. So like the interior map, you think, well, we showed the Carrack, but we've got a few other ships that we'll need to ensure look great.
Speaking of the Carrack, let's jump into some of these questions we collected from the community. This question says, what is the role of the cartography station holosphere in the 600i or Carrack? What's the role of it if you can do everything from your Mobiglas? Will it sync with your Mobiglas? Does it do something different than the Mobiglas? What can you tell us?
I think the main thing is as we mentioned in the hold the line view, we're trying to really emphasize the physical interactions with the world, and that makes the experience a lot more immersive and engaging. Because obviously, if you can do everything from the Mobiglas, right? Like how compelling is that? It's obviously it's not far fetched to imagine in the future we'll might be able to control everything with AI and brain chips and stuff, but doesn't really make for a compelling gameplay. So
that's that comes up also, a lot. People, you're like, we're 900 years in the future. Why are we doing this with this and this and this? And I feel like everyone kind of has their tipping point of what is okay and what's not okay. Because at some point it's well, you can't extrapolate everything 900 years in the future, because you would just think we could do everything super easy. But at the same time, it also you don't want to be hammering nails into walls to build buildings. So they have a fun little midpoint to hit. But I agree. I want a reason for a giant globe in my ship. Otherwise, get rid of the globe. Give me a freaking massage chair there or something.
So with the
I think you will be able to call your ship with your Mobi.
The thing about it is there should be certain benefits to using something that's specially geared towards the ship they're using. For instance, networking. If you have a lot of crew members that you're working with, I think it would be really nice to be able to amalgamate the data so that what you're showing on one display, one hologlobe.
Everybody's standing around the hologram.
So it's amalgamating their individual data into one sort of display, and then they can make strategic planning and stuff around that. And then the same goes for the cartography deck or anything. I feel also what I kind of want to do as something like really cool is to have like a Prometheus style terrain, like a cross section of the terrain on the holo table on a holo globe, so that like when you're like scanning and like you're scanning for like resource deposits and things like that, like it's something that the ship like specifically does. And then obviously I think that information would then be able to like be saved to your Mobiglas, because I think your Mobiglas really is kind of like about displaying the data that you've acquired over time through the use of various equipment, and then like the other displays are kind of like about actually gathering that data.
This next question just says Galaxy View. I guess will we add the?
Yes.
Oh, so yes, well, literally just says Galaxy View here. So,
Somebody was asking like, so we can see the solar system, we can see the interior map. What about like
pulling all the
rest?
way out to
Yeah.
the multi-star system? All right.
Yeah, so the plan is we definitely want to be able to kind of pull back even further. So if people have seen the star map on the website, we're thinking
There's
something
just,
similar
no reason yet.
to that. So you can see all the different systems that will be in the game eventually. Probably we can only like actually go to the two that we're working on at the moment, but we do want to have that big high level view so you can see it all in context.
I also like the idea of being able to like actually go through the jump points as well. So if we could do that, that would be really cool.
Man,
Or,
I
like,
really
in the map, actually
hope.
just-
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going. I feel like these are all pretty easy questions so far. I really hope they get more into the stuff the things that they talked about and then just decided to stop talking about. Like Zane just dropped data running in there, and I don't want them to get into speculation territory. Like if they haven't actually done the work on that stuff, that's fine. But I would like them to talk more about, the downloading of maps and how. Again, these are UI folks. They're not necessarily the game designers, so I don't know how much of those types of things they can answer. Why is Eno censored? What? Think you would like to do this instead of concrete answers, put some shade on the hype on what they showed. I will listen out for that. I have not heard that as much. Or haven't.
Yeah.
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 Fancy.
Yeah,
awesome.
awesome.
Here's a perennial question. Jesus, I think we've seen this question since 2015, so the birth of the PU. Can we organize map markers and pins using folders or tags?
I think you should be able to. I think we should offer like various ways of actually sorting through that data. So I think like one of the ways is, I think that would be good is to be able to have like user-generated folders, so that you can organize your own data and how you see fit, but also be able to organize it by like hierarchical locations. So like Stanton system, and then planet, moon, and be able to kind of like filter your markers that way. And possibly also like tagging the markers, so you can kind of like tag them individually, and then that will kind of go into like the sharing of it, because you might want to only share like a subset, right? So you need to kind of have like good ways of filtering by like subsets of.
And then being able to add notes to the map markers, titles, stuff like that, full labeling things.
Yeah, I mean, we already showed like the titling. I think we should be able to have that flexibility, because otherwise we're kind of like you're kind of like, you don't want to be like stuck in a box and it's just like.
Well, that goes without saying. That would be insane. Could you imagine if we were able to get data points and not name them, and it was just like every single data point was just a dot on the map, and you had to, I don't know, scroll over it or something to see what it was? Yeah, I think the idea of naming data points is kind of almost a given, I would think.
I'm going to start drilling down into it. One thing that one suggestion that we probably will look into, we're not saying we're definitely going to do it, but we can potentially get data from the surroundings as well. So if you've got a mining deposit, we could potentially kind of automatically say what's in that deposit on your little marker. So things like that we've got potential to do one day.
You just went right into the next question.
Yeah,
Will the star map show detail?
Those answers are annoying. I'll give you that. We all know that they have the potential to do all this stuff. I guess what we're really curious about is what stuff is happening right now. And it doesn't sound like any of this is.
It's about planets, population, climate, available resources, factions, stuff like that. How far do we take the star map before it just becomes a galactopedia?
It could go anywhere, really. I mean, like, where it is now, where we're looking at it for now, it's probably going to be pretty similar to the function. Well, the core functionality will be kind of similar to what's in the current Star Citizen, just with this much better interface.
That's what I would expect.
But in future, like if you've seen Google Maps, that's changed over the past 10 or 15 years, and it's constantly changing. We could do the same kind of thing with a star map if we wanted to. But I think...
I mean, our priority is to make it nice and playable first,
Yeah.
like really usable. We understand that maybe the current implementation is not so usable, so you know, there's a priority of making that usable, and then we can look at all these additional features. We've got a feature list as long as you're on it, or look like, oh, that looks cool, we could definitely do that.
Yeah.
We should put that in at night. But I think knowing things, showing things that you know about on the map is sort of like really important. Like when you learn things about a planet or a location, then this could be integrated into your map. So like pinning stuff, or like finding out about, I don't know, it's an icy moon with this kind of population, or whether it's safe or not, is a lot of that sort of based on your knowledge about what you've learned about the universe whilst you're exploring around
Okay,
it.
see,
So there's that.
that's something that he's saying with some confidence, and I feel like that key point is kind of on the line between our speculation and what we expect. I don't know if they've ever confirmed for sure that just how granular the information on these maps will be, but we kind of always had the idea that we wondered if you would have to get all of that info yourself, or if you would just automatically have the information about, you know, if you show up at, like, if you jumped into Terra, would you just automatically have the population of one of the obscure moons in Terra? And it sounds like he's saying no. Again, it's not super, like, he's not saying it for sure, but it's not one of those possibly, or it might be like this answers. He's saying, like, this is how the map works. It's based on the data that you find. And I'm guessing some of it will be default. You know, you're not going to have to go and scan and find the data that tells you how populated a major city is, but you might have to do it for like a small settlement or something. We don't know to that point how much it'll be, but at least he's saying that much.
And then there's, you know, things like the Galactopedia, which, you know, it exists, you know, outside the game right now, but, you know, eventually we'll begin to incorporate into the universe. And I imagine there's a lot of opportunities to plug into that and pull information from that. You know, just easy cross-reference through tags. You know, if I'm looking at, you know, Microtech, you know, oh well, what other information? There's the information that I've gathered, or you've gathered, or members of our team have gathered. But then, what does the universe already know? And pull that in.
What's the governing bodies of the, you know, find me a safe place to go and land and refuel and things like that.
So I would say that probably seems more like a Galactopedia feature as a star map feature, and then just maybe the star map can tap into that in places once the Galactopedia comes online.
They haven't talked about the Galactopedia very much. It just kind of was there on all the demos and in the thumbnail of this stream, but they didn't say anything about it, I don't think.
Show multi-stop quantum travel routes.
Well, so for now, it'll probably do very similar to the current implementation. So you can kind of plot multiple stops on the way, but for now we don't want to do like a full, I don't know, you know, like if you want on a sat nav on your phone, we don't want to go into that much detail where it's kind of doing everything for you. You can choose multiple routes, but I think in future, those kind of features do make people's lives more easier. So yeah, I think it's the kind of thing we probably look into.
I don't want to be flying through some really dangerous zone. I won't be able to avoid it. It sounds a good idea.
Yeah, I think there's big things like, I don't know, you want to be able to know where you need to stop for fuel and how far you can actually reach with your current ship and that kind of thing. We can probably improve the way that's dealt with in future as well.
Mm-hmm. That definitely. I would love to say I want to get to this star system that's 6 potential jumps away, and then I want to be able to like add in a place on the way. You know, I want to stop by this system on the way, and then it reorients my route. Yeah, I don't know.
The next question in the chat here, they're talking about
Yeah, he's got the
whether
Rossi
your
on his
own
desk.
ships can appear in the star map. You know, some folks, I don't want to name names, but they basically leave ships all over the Precision universe. It's just wrecks, hulks, some still fully intact. They just leave it and go to another one. What are our options or plans to showing, you know, our own detritus amongst the star map?
You want to take this one?
Well, we definitely will have the ability technically to do it.
See, like what I want to hear here, I'm sorry, I keep stopping this so much. I want to hear about the transition from the local map to the star map, right? We all saw that there was kind of a hitch there. Is that going to be a smooth thing? Was that hitch because of the demo? Like we're asking such not...
This is sort of
Sorry.
like a design decision about what you can track and what you can, like we always have a thing for tracking with the AR markers anyway, so there's no reason why anything that's on the AR would also be integrated into the mapping system to show exactly where you left it, floating in some moon somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, for now, you'll definitely be able to see where your current ship is. Like if you just got out of your ship and wandering around, you'll be able to see that on there. I think we're going to, for ships that are, say you've got it locked up on a space station, for example, so it's not actually in the game world, that'll probably, for now, live in your inventory and the other menus. But yeah.
But yeah, stuff,
definitely
the stuff flying around is much more likely like the ships that are associated with you.
Yeah. One thing we never really showed the radar very much at CitizenCon, mainly just because it didn't really fit with the flow of everything, but we've kind of improved the radar generally, and you can zoom into that and see it full screen the same way you can with the star map and so on. So there's the kind of things that you would see as contacts on your radar, you'll also be able to see that in the big version too.
Yeah, that's kind of like another use case for like a ship hologlobe is actually like the radar, and you're seeing like all the ships and possibly like the whole fleet.
Yeah.
And
Planning a battle.
Yeah, it'd be so cool for multi-crew gameplay if you're stood around and you can see your friends flying around you and
ordering around.
See, now that's why I would want one of those hologlobes. How cool would that be to see your org's fleet in a hologlobe around you, like on a, I don't know, a javelin or an 890 jump or something big? What is the next step before the fancy stuff? Will we get better star map when you can zoom and select markers while in a party? Yeah, like clearly what we're getting next year is going to be God, it's like the base layer almost. Like they finally got this polished base layer of stuff, but this is telling us that there is a lot of more intricate and detailed functionality that won't be there because it is that base layer. This is just T2, you know, it's not T4 or 5. We've been wondering what T2 or T3 is going to look like. So I think there's going to be plenty more to do after this, especially, you know, from now, but even after we get this new star map, whenever that is next year or whatever, a lot more stuff to happen with it, which means Squadron might play a little bit more basically. I don't know. I guess they'll complete all the features they need for Squadron, but it'll be interesting to see how that affects Star Citizen's gameplay versus Squadron, considering Star Citizens will be so much more up to date.
It's very much like a pervasive UI throughout the game. Like serves a lot of many purposes. You know.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Simon, because I was literally just talking about how, you know, hey, you know, because let's be real, we dumped about 71 episodes of ISC in 2 days. And that's not an exaggeration. When you break down the number of topics and the number of minutes you spent on them, we did 71 episodes of ISC in 2 days.
Well, there we go.
Because I was there helping you put them together.
Somebody said that right today in chat. They're basically ISCs
Together and exhausted. So part of the challenge for this quarter and into next quarter is figuring out what the heck we're going to talk about, what's left to talk about. But one of the things we're discussing is we didn't really
sprint
get to
reports.
cover radar and scan.
Sprint reports, right? Now we see the stuff that they're doing to get that ready for Star Citizen.
Show, but I'll just do it now. We're coming.
I mean, I hope that's what they do. We didn't get many sprint reports this year.
because we know what it does, but we're not told anyone else yet.
We're coming sooner than you might think. So the star map does take into account stuff from the new radar and the new scanning stuff.
Also bounty hunting.
One thing, it's like you kind of got different views. So if you're looking at the actual star map view, that's like the camera's really far away from where the actual player is. So if it was real life, you wouldn't be able to see that thing from that far away. So you do have to kind of zoom into the radar view to see, say, ships flying around and so on. But I think probably we'll have friends on the big version of the map as well.
Yeah, the idea of being able to see everything on the radar also is kind of sketchy PvP-wise. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I guess maybe everyone will just be able to see everyone. But it'll be both cool and also like, crap, I can't sneak around. I guess when you're in gas clouds and stuff, there'll be interference. But like when you're doing the FPS style and you can just like see people around walls, I don't know.
I don't know exclusively how UI this is in that ship team, but will everyone, including non-team members, be able to see doors opening on a ship
Oh my gosh, that's literally... Okay.
so that they can track players?
Well, I checked with Rich Tyler about this just now, and so yes, at the moment that's the way it's going to work.
I think technically it'd be harder not to. Thinking it through, it'd be really hard to
Exclude that data.
Yeah, exclude that data. Like if you know about the ship, you know about the inner workings. You might not necessarily know who's walking through it at any time, but you might go, that door seems to have opened and closed.
Right.
So it does have gameplay implications. So I know it might make it trickier for some people, but also people who do want to snoop on that stuff. It's going to be a fun bit of gameplay.
That's like... So you can see the doors of someone else's ship opening and closing? Aye. That's a little rough. I missed the scanning info. What did they say about scanning?
As well, I think.
Yeah. So a couple layers to that. One is, whether you can see people working in your ships. Another one, whether you can identify them. If they've done something to hide their presence, maybe you don't see them, but you'd still see your own doors, opening and closing in your ship. So a couple different layers.
So the markers on the interior map are what you detect on the radar. So if you can detect people, like we saw the ping stuff in the demo that we did, then they will also appear on the interior map. But as you were saying, if they've got some mechanism of hiding themselves, then maybe they won't be so clear on the interior map as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have like the ability to hide and show different render layers. So like we could hide all doors if that's some gameplay requirement, or because
filters.
Also it's like you're able to see like the weapons on the ship as well and all the different components. So we can like hide those individually. And I don't know if it's like something where we get just like a base schematic of the ship, and then you kind of have to like hook into the ship to get that extra information or whatever.
But keep in mind, seeing your own ship's doors is awesome. And should be the case. But imagine walking onto a javelin and knowing that there are only two other people on the ship, a security guard and a bounty that you have to kill, and being able to see two doors in that javelin opening and know exactly where your target is when it's supposed to be kind of a search and find kind of thing. And they'll have to design the game around that. I'm not saying this breaks the game. It's just something that now they'll probably have to design things around. Because that's, it could be fairly telling. And then in a PvP situation, that could basically, if you have a scenario where you have your org split between two teams, those two teams start at either side of a pioneer and have to battle their way through to find each other. Neither of them know where each other is. All you have to do is go in your Mobiglas and you know where the other team is. So it is something that we'll have to think about. But it's an interesting decision.
So
you can see that from.
But we just have that capability in the display.
Yeah, the fact it's live is really cool, and we've not really explored that too much for now. So maybe there'll be some interesting gameplay that comes out of that as well.
Something not necessarily needed for a single player game, but one of those considerations that come into play with a multiplayer.
Yeah, it's just a consideration.
How does the map handle areas you don't know about?
You don't have to have a map of the download of the ship. That's what they're saying.
Okay. So
everybody, if you walk into a ship, you can see the doors on that ship.
So the idea is, it's kind of, you discover things as points of data. So say when you go into the Stanton system or Pyro or whatever, you'll see the planets, the big planets, probably the moons as well, but you don't necessarily know what's on the surface of that planet. So for example, if there's a mine or a mineral deposit or something like that, you're going to have to get close to that to actually detect it, and then it's going to appear on your map. So essentially, if you don't know about it, you're not going to see it. But as you explore the universe and build up this your data bank, your map. It'll start to gradually populate, and you'll see more and more in there.
Yeah, I love that. See, God, that's exploration gameplay, and I can't freaking wait. Please tell us more.
It's like Twitch is having an issue right now, but we're going to soldier on because we're still recording. Chat's asking about hacking. Now, you talked about, you have control of the different layers and whatnot. So from an offensive standpoint, it's reasonable, it's possible, somebody could go in and start disabling layers that you would have access to, possibly through hacking.
Yeah,
it's conceivable.
If we want to do that.
Yeah, again, sounds a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the way the game's
This is why we don't speculate at devs, because they'll just be like, well, yeah.
the way the game's built, it's really cool. It's not like, we've got all these systems, but they all hook into the whole, so quite often they'll kind of interact with each other. So yeah, you might get sort of emergent, cool stuff happening from that kind of thing.
Okay. Will route finding go all the way from on foot to your destination on another planet? Like how complete a route are we looking at?
I thought they were going to show this during the demo. They never showed us what it looked like to set a route from one planet to another and then like go through the steps of that. It's like, does it give you a guide to get out of Quantum and then tell you to fly down to the city? Where does it stop? Door to door? Across star systems?
No.
No.
So you've seen on the demo, the live demo we did. The on-foot routing is pretty comprehensive, so you can go anywhere within the location, just to anywhere else that you can actually get to. But we want to keep it when you're actually navigating in space. It doesn't basically say, we don't want to hold your hand too much, essentially. So the space navigation, you will have to plot the route like you do now, and so on. But there won't be this thing where, go to the space station, get in your ship.
Okay.
It'll take you straight there, and then you've got to get out of the ship. That kind of thing.
That's fair. That's a balance.
A bit too far.
Not getting from my hab in Area 18 to...
They made like a conscious decision to say, hey, this needs to be balanced. We can't do everything. I wonder what kind of options they'll give us to turn off waypointing on the FPS level too. That'd be a nice option for players who don't want that.
To my friend's hab in Microtech, door to door.
Yeah, and like one thing we do want to avoid as well is there's a term that some of the directors have used, which is called playing the map, where you sometimes, if it's too much of a sat nav, you don't even look at the game screen. You're just looking at this tiny little circle that shows you where to go. So we don't want that. We want to.
But we
make
still
people feel immersed in the world.
There's still like quantum economy, the whole simulation. There's still the whole idea that we need to know the information so that we can set that route. And like they mentioned that a little bit earlier. But that's really important. And I want to be able to set a waypoint and like change my path based on all that kind of stuff. So manual path finding is great, but like the data that we can see that they're offering us to make that path is super important too.
Crazy technical challenge behind that. Anyway, if you talk about the hub thing, it was like, well, where's the first step? Does it route you to the ASOP terminal? And then does it tell you what ship to put, because you might have 10 ships. So you might already have some ships on the landing pad. Which one is it going to pick? Is it going to pick the fastest one? Is it going to pick the safest one? I agree with you. No, I think just on a technical basis, I don't want to set off down that route. I think let the players play the game how they want and give them a hand moving around like some of our more complex environments, but it's not about like just you've seen people drive like this, right, where they're just following the sat nav into a field or something.
Playing the map's a very real thing. I think I eventually tapped out of like the Arkham series of games because I was just constantly in the map mode. I was just running around in map mode. I was running around in Bat Vision or whatever it was. It was just like I'm not playing the game. I'm playing the UI. It was great UI, but it now superseded the game at that point. So
much as we like to promote UI, I think we've also made some great visuals beyond the UI. So yeah.
Well, I mean, like for instance, the new ship HUDs. Like we've taken like the effort to try to like clear up the view of like all these UI elements. Like it's like really cluttered in the PE right now. It's really messy, and so like that's kind of we want to clear it up so like you can appreciate the environments a lot more, right?
You say clear it up, so I want to ask you about customization. Customization. I think again, since the first version of the PU went out in December of 2015, people have always asked questions about customization. Can I change colors, or can I change brightness, or can I change, or can I move this over here, over there? Talk to me about customization. We've only got a few more minutes before we switch over to Torsten and Guillermo, but
This
I think
isn't
this
just
is
a
what
UI
people would
talk?
really like to know and have discussed is how far are we looking to take this? Are there
okay.
technical limitations that will just prevent us from doing everything we want? Just talk to me in general about how important or not, maybe it's not, please don't say it's not, but how important is the ability to customize the UI?
Well, it happens. There's two levels anyway. There's a in-law customization, as in how you'd actually customize your ship. That's a bit beyond the scope of what I know about. But we also talk about accessibility as well. So the size of text, color blindness, and all things like that. So we have, as a system programmer, like we have to deal with that kind of stuff. We're building all that in anyway because we have to do appropriate things for color blindness and text sizes so you can read things and not have just such tiny text everywhere. But that really helps the game designers as well, because the game designers will talk about how we want to be able to customize our ship, or we want to be able to customize the way a shop looks or something like it. From a systems point of view that I'm involved in, it's just about trying to make the UI as flexible as possible so then we can do that sort of stuff. I don't know where we're at with the design for customization of particularly ships. So obviously the ships are one of the most important things. I mean, Yogi showed quite a lot of that stuff off at the show, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think at the moment a lot of the
more that we can do as well.
A lot of the customization at the moment is things like on the MFDs you can choose which MFD you're looking at, that kind of thing. For now, our main focus is like take all that information and get it good for the player, and also try and get it contextual, so you're not seeing things you don't need to see and that kind of thing. So, well, for now you can't customize everything to
the basics.
great deal. It hopefully is a better player experience, and I think longer term, we've always talked about being able to have, say, if you buy a new helmet, maybe it has a different kind of style of UI. If you've got different Mobiglas, maybe you've got the pink version, for example. So I think tying things to items is probably going to be the first thing before we get to the level where we're letting players customize every single piece here and there.
Yeah, I think the customization will probably manifest itself first in like the accessibility options, like for color blindness and text size and things like that. And then anything beyond that's probably later down the line.
That was a question that our community member had in our Discord, accessibility, something that they didn't really talk about at CitizenCon, but something that they are talking about now, at least bringing up, so it's not something they've forgotten, but maybe something they could shine a little bit more light on.
That just things like brightness against white backgrounds of microtech. But
Yep.
I mean, is this
trying
an
to solve that for
Awapo?
5
Is this
years?
like this forever demon at the end of all the things UI? Is the UI against the white snow of microtech?
It's way more complicated than you'd expect, believe it or not. like you think, well, can we not just draw it with a drop shadow, or do we adjust the brightness? But yeah, we definitely know it's a problem, and we work on it quite a lot. And then
It kind of comes and goes. We go through waves of like it'll come up and it right. Nobody can read it. We've got to fix it. So we make it better, and then it's like, yeah, that'll do for now. And then 6 months later, it's like, you can't read this. Can't read it on the snow background. So, yeah, we'll get it perfect one day, but I'm sure there'll be more of those like waves as we get there.
It won't be as fast as some people. It won't be as fast as I want it. Let's just be completely honest. But it's all right. I appreciate that I appreciate that you're aware of it. I appreciate that you're working on it, and I think some people will be too. All right, last before we let you go.
Zane did not make that Iron Man style UI. There was another person who was brought in at the beginning of the development, worked with Zane. Zane was working at the same time, but the other guy was the primary lead behind that design style because he did work on the Iron Man movie. Changing the HUD color will be nice, but I think there's a lot of little things that have to work correctly with the color change, and since the HUD clearly isn't even finished, probably not as easy as we'd like to hope it was.
Bone, are you recovered from being a meme?
Yeah, that was an unexpected turn of events. I wasn't. Of all the things that I was predicting that could or couldn't happen. That wasn't one of them, but yeah, it was all very wholesome, it seems. I appreciate the love of the community.
What was going on in your head, Emily? What happened?
Told me to do it.
I did, and this is true.
He told me to do it.
Can I say in my defense? That, like,
Yeah, keep in mind, the past HUDs had different customizations because those aren't on the same system. So that was all using the general stuff that came with whatever CryEngine had. At this point, they're using custom stuff that probably is not really coded first for color customization. It's coded first for functionality. That might be something that they want to do later on when they make that work better, I would guess.
I asked Emily to be clear. What the problem was is when demoing something like the star map, I had a tendency to just go freestyle and just start spinning things around. And like, Emily was like, no, we need to actually demo specific features. So I said, well, you just tell me to do the thing. And in my defense, I couldn't hear a voice when we're on stage. Right. And you hear the reflection because it was a big hall, and you hear, Emily would say it, and then about half a second later, I would go, like this. So it made me look like a bit of a muppet, to use a Mancunian term.
I lied. Not the last question. There is one last kind of bugaboo question I want to ask about a landing UI. That's but besides the adjustments and the customization, one of the big forever questions is either the return or the next iteration of some kind of downward facing landing UI to help folks out. Any joy, any love, any hope you can offer anybody here?
Yeah, so I have looked into it to some degree. It's not very progressed right now, but it is something we're thinking about and working on. So.
Yep, so
Yeah.
using
Well,
that
that's not
holosphere
much.
for useful stuff.
Watch this space.
You switch to Emily's camera. Emily wants you to look right at that camera and say, I'm going to give you a landing UI.
I'm going to give you a landing UI.
Oh, poor Emily. Somebody's going to clip that.
That was the opposite of what I said would happen at the beginning, huh?
So just like a giant, it's just a keg of Fireball on his desk. What the heck?
Thanks, guys. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us and be here with us. Thank you for everything you did in putting together that CitizenCon presentation. I told you when we first started talking about it, it was going to be one of the most sought after and enjoyed presentations, and you guys absolutely delivered. So thank you so much. Torsten, Guillermo, are you still there? Nope. Okay. So we've lost our second guest, so we're going to take a short break and see if we can't get them back on the line. And if all things work, we'll be back with Torsten and Guillermo for a follow-up to their resource management presentation at CitizenCon. So stay tuned.
Well, that's fun. I hope it works, but yeah, it looks like they get to talking. And no, it looks like it's Jared for the rest of the time. Ah, geez. We don't actually get a show, do we? Dang.
All right. Is that working? Guillermo, Torsten, you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
We're having a day here. Apparently, when you don't use the studio for 6-7 weeks, everything breaks. Welcome back to Star Citizen Live, CitizenCon follow-up. Joining us for the second half of the show are Torsten and Guillermo from the EUPU gameplay and feature teams. Welcome, guys. Say hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Hi.
It's going to be one of those things. All right, so you guys did your presentation on the resource management system, sometimes referred to as the engineering gameplay system. How'd it go? Was it well received? Did you guys have a good time? Talk to me for a minute while I work on one more technical thing.
I think we didn't get all the time to talk about all the things we want to say for engineering, so it's good that we have this segment to clarify a lot of the questions the community is having, and so that Thorsten can really, go on and on about his designs.
Yes.
Would you agree with that, Thorsten?
Well, partly, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we had to rush it a bit on stage, but yeah. So good that we have the opportunity to talk a bit about it.
Yeah, you were the unfortunate. You had the unfortunate placement of being directly after the Future of Star Engine presentation, which started out as a 45-minute long presentation like all the others, then grew to 55 minutes, then 65, then 75, then 85. I don't know what the actual runtime was, but if somebody can look it up on YouTube and see, but I'm pretty sure we got upwards of nearly 90 minutes before all is said and done. So I do appreciate you expediting things and getting us back on track. So we're not. So we'll go ahead and we're going to do a follow up on ISC and some about some of the talking points that we didn't get to cover. But for now, let's just jump right into some of the questions from the community that we have while things are still working before we lose you again. First question from the community: will soft death ships be repairable?
So that's a good question, and it comes first with, okay, what is soft death? So soft death is a bit of an interim solution due to the fact that we cannot actually currently in the game, let you damage power plants or relays or anything like that. So that means that, the way the game works currently, if you set something to 0 HP, it will just explode. Soft death allows us to bypass that a bit so that you get, a non-functional ship that you can still loot. With the physical damage system, we expect that to change, and instead of having soft death as its own thing, have it be more along the lines of, if you lose enough parts to your ship, you will stop flying or you will stop being able to fight. And whether that's repairable, it will depend. In some cases, some components are easy to change and repair. On the other hand, power plants for some ships are so large that you would need to tow the ship all the way back to port to do any kind of repair.
And that's one of the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Torsten.
Yeah, so to add to that, the soft death that we currently have is basically just an interim solution to the proper soft death that will then come with what Guillermo just described.
And that's going to
even
provide.
Moving forward. Sorry.
Okay.
Like even moving forward with Maelstrom, it will be more complex where players will be able to shoot away certain sections of the ship. So you don't even have to repair the ship items on it, but you have to exchange entire segments of the ship itself.
And when vehicles like the SRV and stuff.
Again, reminder that what we see from the engineering gameplay right now isn't actual repair. That what he's describing, that's repair, and that's not here yet, which is why we didn't see it.
Come on, these vehicles that are designed to tow other ships and other wrecks. One of the virtues of that is they'll be able to grab onto these soft death ships and bring them back for repair, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's in the end, people should expect, especially in the long term, a more detailed damage system. A big example that came in the questions was crash landings, that the ship still tends to explode. In theory, as long as you have enough crumple space, so to speak, in the sense that you don't hit a mountain head on. With Maelstrom, you would probably expect to lose wings.
Yep. Oh.
Oof.
Did we lose him?
I mean, that's a nice answer, right? We'll be able to crash land and not explode. At least there's that. Let's see where it goes from here.
It's one of those days. We had a really good 2 days at CitizenCon where stuff was like. This is my penance. This is my penance. We've lost Guillermo and Torsten right now. We're going to attempt to get them back here. What happened? All right, we're going to go back to the "we'll be right back" sequence, and we're going to see if we can do this one more time. Be back in a minute, everybody. Hi, everybody.
It's not just me.
So, yeah, we're not going to be able to get Torsten and Guillermo back for this show. So we'll
see, this is what happened to me on Saturday.
To address those things and have them back on one of the future shows that we have before the end of the year. Right now, who wants to ask me anything? I mean, I could just end the show here, or we could do Ask Disco, Ask Jared. We got a live chat, right? We got a live chat. What you got? What you got for me? You can let
Honestly,
Guillermo and Torsten go since we can't bring them in. Dave.
Jared knows answers to questions. I know he'd rather have the devs answer those questions, but it would be fun to ask Jared some
I'm doing all right.
questions about his time at the game.
You know, it's been a little hard coming down from the high of CitizenCon. CitizenCon was like
I don't know if the next update has a wipe. I
pinnacle of
doubt it, but I don't know.
a decade of my time here, making all that happen, and so the last couple weeks afterwards have been really hard crashed. But yeah, it's to be expected. Any news on the Raylan? No, not from me. I don't make spaceships.
Yeah, see, he's not going to answer those questions.
What was your favorite and worst moment at CitizenCon? Give me a little bit to think about that. Jared, what are you most excited for this year? Most of what you just saw us talking about, the UI stuff. I mean, it's not hyperbole when I say that UI is the one element of game production that touches everything else. I mean, I'm sure all of you, many of you, most of you, saw what that new star map does, saw what the new internal map is, saw what the new Mobiglas was, and how they will completely, totally, and utterly, reinvent the experience of living in the precision universe.
They didn't, man, there's so many UI questions we could have had. We didn't even talk about the Mobiglas update. Like, how is that going to happen? We didn't even touch on the Mobiglas. I mean, we're supposed to be getting an updated bounty hunting app. Is that going to be an updated bounty hunting app on the old Mobiglas? Or do we have to wait for the new Mobiglas to get that updated app? And the same goes for the, I don't know, hangar manager app with the freight elevator and stuff. Is that stuff getting updated on the Mobiglas, or does it have to wait until later? It's weird that there was a lot of UI stuff that we didn't really talk that much about. They didn't really mention, what else is there? Man, see, now I'm drawing a blank. It comes to me. It comes to you randomly, like there are random UI elements and things that I feel like we really could have had some good questions answered on. Sucks.
Had to go back to the game as it currently is and log in with the game as it is today. It's hard. It's hard. So the thing that I'm most excited about is getting that stuff in there. It's one of the reasons we launched this 5 weeks of CitizenCon follow-ups that we have with the UI stuff, because that is the stuff I'm most excited about. That you get that stuff in there, and everything else just changes after that. How many weed? What is that? Oh, it says how many weed CIG smoke in month? I didn't misread that. That was
What?
the syntax. That's what I was
How
tripping
many-
on the syntax.
What did he say? How many weed CIG smoke in month? For starters, it's ETAM.
CIG smoke. How many weed? What is that? Oh, it says how many weed CIG smoke in month?
Guessing somebody was smoking weed, maybe?
I didn't misread that. That was the syntax. That's what I was tripping on the syntax. Can we get another Jared exclusive Starcloth demo? No. I still owe Chrome Ninja a call. I said I would call him afterwards, and I never did. Such a jerk. Is that model 3D printed, and where can we get the files? This is the Rocinante from The Expanse. Big fans of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. James, the two folks who make up James Corey.
Nice.
Jared, where
That's
can I
cool.
get that hoodie?
Hey, I've got the Rocinante on my arm here. Right. Can you see that? Right there. Yeah, that one. And then the what is it, Diamondback on there too? Good fiction. Good stuff. That's cooler, fans.
You were wearing, you have to hire in and work here several years ago. It's not even available today. What happened with the fire marshal at the after party?
Razorback, yeah, not
the fire
Diamondback.
Jared used voice without the video. No, it's the whole machine that brings them in is down. That's why we can't even do just voice, unfortunately. When are you and Tyler going to do a show together again? Man, if it were up to me, we'd still be doing Citizens of the Stars, man. We used to, we were always on that stuff together, but, you know, reality happens. That we improve the quality of the of the other shows. ISC, not this one. This one's a POS this week. Really got to get this working. But the other show, it takes a lot more time, a lot more effort. So we couldn't continue the show that you just kind of got goofed off on and stuff like that. But I miss him. It was one of the best parts about Citizen Con was getting to hang out and be together. Question: do we know of any ships being completely reworked? You tell me. You're asking if you know of any. Do you?
600i.
How is everyone doing mentally after the hard push of the event? I kind of talked about it at the beginning of this part. It's big highs can often lead to big lows afterwards. It's the case with me and my particular brain chemistry. Other people can just go on and stay super high. But it was a high.
The guy that asked the question.
High. It was, whatever you guys felt watching it, imagine what it must feel like making it.
Yeah, that must have been great, especially after all these Citizen Cons that really didn't go off. They went off well. They did well for the company, but not like this as an event. The production quality, the people who were there, their support, the professionalism, all of it felt really well put together. So I bet it was just super, super nice for them. It was just 2 days of just amazingness. And then after all of that buildup and all that success, it just ended. And you're back to the same old. Get the work done. Do the work. When's the next thing? So, yeah, I bet it's been a lot transitioning back from that.
It was hands down one of the better experiences of my entire time here. Let's see. What else we got? Lando, which Jordans are you rocking today? Not anything fancy. These are my Jordan Stay Loyal 2s in midnight blue. These are the ones I wear when it rains. So not the classic Jordan 1s or the Jordan 3s that I like, but these are more comfortable and they're a bit more watertight. So I wear these ones. Buying things on CitizenCon increase our concierge level? I have no idea. I have virtually no involvement with the concierge or the subscriber program. For my work, it's got to be for everybody. You are all citizens. Did you cry over server meshing? I didn't, but that story CR said was absolutely true. It was he recounted the story, so I don't think I have anything to add to it. But he was, it was just one of those kind of, everybody gets together and kind of reviews what they're talking about, showing things to CR so he can plus something up or send us in a different direction. And Paul Rendell has this video. He says he goes just casually. I think I figured out how to demonstrate server meshing, because you remember, some of you remember, you still give me crap about it. We tried to tell a server meshing story at the beginning of this year, and the problem with it is that it's not a very visual thing. So if you can't show it, it's just a bunch of people talking. And we learned that the hard way. We kind of knew it. We thought we would try anyway, and it didn't work. So it took.
The problem was,
a year.
I think the big problem was that there was no follow-up or even explanation, that they kind of realized that and wanted to come up with something else. So it was just sort of, we were left wondering what was going to happen. Sapazit, I'll catch you later. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Luna Maria, welcome. And Snarfster, it was great to see you at the hotel. Hope you enjoyed the event. It was a cool event, cool demo. I did like seeing it finally, and I was wondering how they were going to show it off.
part of a year, not 8-9 months. And Paul Rendell, super stud that he is, shows up and says, I think I've got a way to show it. And he shows this, and we're all just kind of like just anime eyes watching this thing. Like, I can't, he did it. You know, yes, it works, but also we figured out how to demonstrate it visually, you know, because the thing works on the size and scale of star systems and stuff. So it's a very hard thing to show visually. And he did it, and it was a recording. You know, most of CitizenCon was pre-recorded, you know, stuff like this. And Chris's response after he, you know, he teared up, was he challenged Paul to do it live, which is, which if you want to know what it's like working for CR, man, he showed him this amazing thing, and then he was like, this is great, this is wonderful. If you weren't a coward, you'd do it live. And yeah, then Paul and myself and a couple IT people spent the next 3 weeks, because it was just 3 weeks before, completely rejiggering that presentation in order to figure out how to do it live and stuff. So that's probably my favorite thing about CitizenCon. Going back to that question, my favorite thing about CitizenCon is my favorite thing about working here, is that we don't chicken out. It's we don't take the easy road. You know, if there's a way to do something that would be better, then even if it comes with more risk, and it almost always comes with more risk, we do it. That's why this is the only place that lets me do this job. It's the only company in the world that would let me do this. And I love that place. I love that. All right. I'm just going to check my chat to see if I've made anybody angry here. Nope, nobody's angry with me at the moment. So we're going to keep the questions coming. We got a few more minutes here. Do you look at questions that don't have the question prefix? No. No. Chat's too crazy. Chat's too crazy. The question prefix, the big capital letters surrounded by brackets. That's how I've trained myself over the years to try to pull these things out of chat, and I still miss half of them, or 3/4 of them completely. If we're being honest with each other. Can you tease some upcoming ISC topics soon? Well,
all right. Before we get into that, sorry, I had to step away real quick. Consulting with Mrs. T. Folks, she just told me, because she's getting the server announcement ready to announce the rest of the week in our Discord server. If you're not a part of the Discord server, consider joining. These streams are awesome. I love spending them with you guys, but we get to do so much more interaction there. And we have 12, I'm looking at 12 different events we have planned for this week. For anybody in our org to get involved in. On top of that, we're also going to be hosting daily regular meetups for IAE all throughout the event for anybody who just is kind of looking for a group of people to get in with. So yeah, a lot of that going on right now, and some big events going out this week. It's looking like it's going to be good. These comments that he said make you think that they're much further down the line, down the server meshing path than we realize. That's what they were trying to say during that event. I think when they did that server meshing ISC, a lot of people came away from that and thought that they were just starting. Like, they have been actively working on not just persistent entity streaming or object container streaming. They've been working on the actual technology that makes server meshing possible since at least 2019. I don't know about before that, but I know that at that point, the technology that was supposed to run server meshing was in the works then. Now, obviously, this is like an R&D kind of thing in their specific application, so they failed and progressed at different times. And at the beginning of this year, I think that they weren't trying to say they were at the beginning of this conceptual phase of server meshing. It was more kind of, this is the beginning of the main stretch. And now that we are here at CitizenCon at the end of the year, we're seeing the, not end of that main stretch, but like they've made progress into it and they have something more physical to show. And I think people gave them more crap than they deserved for that presentation, but I also think that presentation didn't do a good job of communicating where exactly they were at in that phase. We do have a Discord, Bishop. The air horn was for the GII folks. Did I miss? Oh yeah, got the input unplugged. We do things and stuff. Big takeaway, they finally found a way to visually display it working. Yeah. That's the big takeaway for all of CitizenCon. Like, you say that about server meshing, but let's be honest. That Star Engine video, I would say us as players could have remade 90, 85% of that video in-game. So, like, yeah, it's not just that they made huge progress. It's that they figured out a way to communicate it so that people thought it was more interesting. Because you see people reacting to that server meshing, or the Star Engine demo, and people are like, wait, you can go down to the planet? And it's like, well, yeah. and I think what they did with server meshing is also just part of that. I don't know if they hired somebody else, if they brought in a third-party company. I don't know what happened, but their presentation this year was so much better. It's really good to see.
I said it earlier in the show, and it wasn't hyperbole. CitizenCon...
Bishop, I knew you were in the voice. You don't think I know your spider, dude? I literally called you Bishop.
...was 71 ISEs. It's if you wonder why, if you wonder why no other game company does a weekly recurring behind the scenes docu-series in the middle of their development, it's because it's hard. It's really hard. But then to also do a big 2-day event where we basically dump an entire year's worth of ISE content in 2 days while still having to make ISE content, yeah, it's hard, but it goes back to what I said. It's not the easy thing. The easy thing would be to, take a quarter of ISE off or 2 quarters of ISE off or whatever. But, we don't do the easy thing. We do what we think is the better thing.
Honestly,
so,
I think it is worth the context that one of the other companies that I follow pretty closely, oh my gosh, Coffee Stain, is making Satisfactory, and they actually are very similar in the way they communicate with their game. They don't do near as much communication, but it's just as good. Unfortunately, one of their community managers left recently, and I think that hurt their communication, but they do a decent amount of communicating with the community and do a good job of explaining where they're going and what they're doing. And their explanation of how it feels and how it comes across and the challenges of it are the same as CIG's. I've used their video in a video describing CIG's difficulties because this is not exclusive to that company. How closely do I follow them again? Not closely enough to I don't know what the last video was, for instance. I probably once a month I check it out. I really want to play Satisfactory more. We have a channel in the Discord. We have a persistent server where people are playing and building. I just don't get enough time to get in, but that is a pretty cool game. And if I had more time to play, I think that'd be one of the ones that I would play a little bit more regularly.
So ISC topics for the remainder of the year are going to be a little, some of the things are ones you can expect. We got 2 weeks of IAE coming up. So pretty standard. These 2 weeks of every year are dedicated to ship content. So the next 2 episodes of ISC that air during IAE are going to be all dedicated to
ship sales. I'm sorry.
The new ships and vehicles.
That
are debuting at this year's event. Then the week after that is probably going to be a look at Pyro Playground and the what's it called? The public test channel? Is that what we're calling it? Preview channel. The preview channel. It's going to be a bit about the preview channel and what it is and how it works and why things will come to it and why things will go from it. And then a look back at the Pyro Playground for the folks who didn't get a chance to experience it and why certain things were this way and that way. And then we got like a 17-minute section that's just dedicated to camping and griefing at the spawn habs.
Really? No, they don't. That's a joke. You know what? In fact, let me.
you have the option not to. I understand the thing lets you, but it's a choice to do and a choice not to.
Man,
Every one of us are capable of making those choices.
if you are interested in my opinions on all of that, and I guess if you're also interested in Void Dude's opinions on all of that, I know people have been talking about his recent video in Pyro. I just released a video with him. We just had a podcast episode over this weekend, published this morning, and it is all about Pyro and playing in it and how it's supposed to play and why it plays the way it does right now. We won't really get into that. They've got a lot of challenges on their hands, though, trying to allow for choice and also put in game features to still nudge people into those choices. But what was I gonna say? Talking about Pyro Playground. Nah, I don't remember what I was gonna say. I was really hoping that they would get into like the reputation though and stuff of Pyro. Assuming players are rational actors. Yeah, it's a mistake we make. Space Guy, it's good to meet you. Hope you enjoyed the event as much as we did. It was just tons of pride. Yeah, reputation's really going to help with this game. You know what they need? I hate to say it. It's almost a joke. Star Citizen needs a pillar talk. They need to bring back, especially now that they're moving people back onto Star Citizen. We need to have Richard Tyrer, Tony Z, Todd Pappy, and John Crew sit down and freaking talk out the big pillars, the big things, you know? They need to... We have all of these questions that only certain people can answer, and they never get all those people together. And I feel like at least those four would be able to cover a lot of the questions of like reputation, you know? Because when we talk about reputation, we don't just want to know the rewards we're going to get for it. We don't just want to know the missions we're going to run to earn it. We want to know how all of these things fit together into the game. How the game's actually going to play. How Star Citizen is going to drive us through progression and reputation. And like whenever we ask, they're like, well, I could tell you about this part. I feel like now is the time to bring back Pillar Talk. CIG, come on. Do it. If you don't do it, I will. And it's going to be really, really boring if I do. Because nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care about what I have to say about pillars. There's no news coming out of that. So please, CIG. Just one Pillar Talk, please. If you want the murder hobos to murder within the spirit of the game, you have to reward them properly. What did I just step into? I thought chat was that would be really good. Pillar talks, you say? You mean not the murdering of people? Yeah, I would oh, pillow talk. Well, that would probably also be pretty boring, seeing the pillows in Star Citizen. Not great. The only great sheets in Star Citizen, in fact, are the ones in the MISC ships. They got little spaceships on them. Oh yeah, Death of a Spaceman would also be a big one to go over.
And then we could do some 322 stuff that hasn't been announced on the public roadmap yet, so I'm not ready to say what that is. And then, yeah, I mean, we got like 2 weeks after that for 322 stuff, and then we're done with the year. And then I take the thing that I dream about every 2 years, a 17-day trip to Walt Disney World, where I forget each and every one of you exists. God, it sounds so good. Disney World, not forgetting you exist.
No, he said it.
Will we see an ISC on structural salvage? Yes. Can we play as Bone in Star Citizen? No, there's only one. Will we see anything on bounty hunting or building interiors soon? Soon is a relative term. You'll see something on building interiors probably next year. Work on building interiors was the teams that were working on building interiors were pulled off and reassigned to getting the distribution centers farther along for their releases.
Okay. See, now those are the kinds of little clarifications we like. We appreciate those. That factors in. That makes sense. Those distribution centers made work, and they did good, and it makes sense if the UGF team, which I'm going to go ahead and add in here. This is our list for those who are regulars here, you know. But anybody who's new here, this is our list of things that we were expecting at CitizenCon. So what I've been doing is going back over. We do this a lot. We do this 6 days a week, almost 6 days a week, almost every week. We kind of just follow this development and figure out what all of the little things are that's going on. And one of the things we did before CitizenCon was we went through a lot of past CitizenCons and a lot of stuff that they've talked about over the last few months and years and tried to figure out what they would talk about at the event. One of those things was the UGFs. Another one of those things, though, was building interiors, which clearly did not happen because those were the UGF folks. And I'm sure there are a couple other things on here that are like that. So those little clarifications are nice. That lets us know what's been going on. I'll keep that tucked away over here just in case we get another one. Much appreciate. Don't hate me if I just pinged your Discord. Mrs. Tomato is the big pinger on Discord. With so much progress made on the core server meshing tech, do you believe or know if there will be any effort made to integrate NPCs with ChatGPT tech to increase realism or immersion? No. I think if there was any chance that CIG would be using large language models to run their AI, it would be an in-house solution. They really, really like to own their tech. I don't think that they would do anything with OpenAI. Maybe if Amazon has something, but I feel like CIG would probably try and do their own thing. They're using large language models, I think, for Planet Tech, and it sounds like that's going to be kind of their own doing. So, don't know what their plans are with that, but I don't think that the NPC technology is related to server meshing, but I also don't think that they would go with somebody else's solution.
And stuff like this and showcase at CitizenCon. So the work on building interiors is sort of slowed down for a bit, like I said too. But as the work on the distribution centers becomes more and more complete, those folks will be able to go back and resume their work on building interiors. It's like we say, the only constant in game development is change. We're going to check our chats and make sure nobody's angry at us again. I mean, I could make up another rule, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to make up a lie and just say, hold on, I'm getting a message from my mom. But no, every once in a while, I just got to check and make sure that nobody's angry at me. When I call audibles like this. Should we get out the whiteboard? What's your favorite character in The Expanse? Amos. Let's see. Did you cry watching the Squadron 42 trailer? Seriously. Not cry, because it's you see me in there and whatever. It's I was one part of many parts of putting it together, scripting it and working out that. Bone touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. We don't always show Squadron 42, but we don't always see it internally either. Everybody's got their work and everybody's got their thing that they're working on, and everybody's got their part of things that they're focused on and stuff like this. So we don't always see this don't always have this opportunity to pull back and see how it all fits together. You know, that's the stuff that, you know, CR and Rich Tyrer and those guys, that's the world that they live in. We're always just focused in these little areas. So getting to see that come together. That video started as a little 2 to 3 minute thing. Oh, we're just gonna do a little thing. And then we're just like, no, we can show this, and oh, we got to show this, and oh, we got to show this, and we got to talk about this, and you know, it's like, again, the easy thing would have been to do that little 2 or 3 minute thing we originally spec'd out, but we don't do the easy thing. We do what we genuinely and historically believe is the better thing, even if it's almost always the harder thing. And that was certainly what Hold the Line was. And I think
just
the
to make
results
clear
for itself. It's
sometimes the easy thing is actually easier. But they love to, they do love to pick something that's harder. Oh boy. Yeah. But that's what makes the game special. It's like it's a positive and a negative. But yeah, that was the Squadron 42 trailer. I think that's probably my favorite piece of thing ever that they've put out was the I Held the Line trailer. That's the best piece of marketing material they've ever done. Very nice to watch. The music is good. The monologue is pretty decent. The amount of like in-game sound versus explanation of what's going on is pretty solid. And they showed like a wide swath of what the game can offer. I think that was great. It's better than a lot of other big game companies do, actually, which is kind of surprising. Won't have loading screens between travel to Pyro because we don't do easy. Right. Your Discord and org papers are impressive. Thanks for the content, Tomato and Mrs. Tomato. Thank you. Thanks for appreciating it. A lot of hard work has gone into that stuff. What else, Jared? Tell me more.
Anybody that was at the event, in whatever spare time I had, they probably heard me say, you need to make sure that you're in your seat at 4:30. Don't let any force on earth pull you out of that seat, because in that stage with that screen and that sound system and those 3,000 people in the audience.
Can confirm. It was very good live.
One heck of an experience, man.
The sound was so good.
One heck of an experience.
I dare anybody who was there in person to tell me that the sound was not good. Oh my gosh, it was so great. The bagpipes, dude. The gun sounds were great in that theater. I'm just gonna play the whole game in that theater. All right, forget my computer and the headphones and stuff. If that's what I got to do, then I'll just go back there. Convention center, what? Rent it out.
Jared merch. All right, I'll sell you this for $75. You can buy some of my old cassette tapes, $5 each. We need bobbleheads. No, you don't need bobbleheads. That's rude. That's rude. I don't think Pete knows the story. I don't think Pete knows why my head bobbles. Everybody always like, we need a disco bobblehead. I broke my neck. That's why my head bobbles. I broke 2 vertebrae in my neck in the year 2000 and never healed well. And now if I stay too stationary for too long, the cartilage inflames, and it's just a constant forever pain because I'm too chicken to get the surgery that they keep telling me I need. So I bobble. It keeps it loose. It keeps me pain-free. But in case you ever wondered, in case you ever left a YouTube comment, hey Jared, just stop bobbling your head, man. I'd like to, but it hurts. Just check our chat, see if we're in trouble. Or not. Hey, Lenny, are you in here? Lenny never came back. Lenny, are you ready with the with the raid? We're gonna raid a star.
We have an alpaca across the street that's named Lenny.
Lenny is our recently added French community manager. Lenny, send me a message on Teams if you're ready. So we'll wrap that up and get that thrown to you. Let's see, any more trouble? Any more questions? Will there be an NPC Jared in-game for in-game events? No. Guys, I appreciate the request. I appreciate that it comes from a good place, and I'm truly honored. But there has to be some part of this project where you guys can get away from me. Like, I only host this show. I'm not a good host. Look at me. Look at me right now. Look at me. Like, this is not, I'm no professional host. My job is to make this stuff from top to bottom, to write it, to produce it, to direct it, also like this. I only host it because I'm the guy in charge of hiring the host, and I just like it. It's my little release each week, but it's not actually my job. My job is the making stuff. But it's like, because I do that, like, there's got to be some place where you can escape me. There's got to be some place where you can enjoy Star Citizen without having to deal with my big giant bobbly head, and that should be in game. Let's see. We got a message from Lenny. Jake is on it. Okay, Jake is on it. All right. So yeah, that's it, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry that we didn't get to the second half of our guests due to technical problems. We're gonna see if we can't square those things away before next week. Next week's show is scheduled to be members of the Life in the First Person and Taking Flight presentations. So the FPS and the ship gameplay stuff, Yogi and Jens and them. So we got 7 days to figure this out.
We're gonna try.
Going. So hopefully we'll be on track.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be in Inforunners this week. I don't know when exactly that is. Well, I'll be there on Friday, but I want to try and watch this live, the next one live, and I want to see if I can get some questions in there for these upcoming ones. Cause like, I feel like we could have had. I mean, maybe they just didn't pick the good questions. I feel like we just could have had better questions for the UI team. So hopefully we'll get some good stuff answered. I'm hoping to slip a couple questions in, at least about like the heat system when it comes to ship flight. Maybe about our ability to control the animations that we get when we're, getting boosted and jostled around. Probably talk a little bit more about like the precision mode. Yeah, I just, these are valuable shows. These are really valuable Star Citizen lives. We should get a lot of good information from these. I think we just kind of lost the opportunity with the UI team there. We don't get to talk to UI too much. I don't think you could fill one hand of fingers with the amount of time the UI team has been on camera altogether. If you just search for UI in their videos. Here's one from 4 years ago. Obviously this is CitizenCon from a couple weeks ago. Here's one from 3 years ago. So like, yeah, it's like every few years maybe we get to see them. Here's 10 years ago. Sure. Yeah. By the way, this is the guy. This is the guy I was saying earlier in chat. He is the one who worked on Iron Man, fresh off of his design from Iron Man 3 HUDs. Walks us through his design for the process of the Star Citizen HUDs. So this is the guy where those kinds of style of HUDs came from. Zane was working there at the same time, but obviously the inspiration from Iron Man came from the person who was working on Iron Man. Just a couple. This is like what his ideas for it were. Obviously it didn't go in this direction. It moved in this direction a little bit, but it's great work. It's just not for a video game, I think. At least not a very fast-paced video game. So yeah, that's how many UI videos they put out. I can find the one from 11 years ago talking about or 9 years ago, talking about the first guy to work on the UI. So I think getting them on for an hour long or 40-minute, 30-minute long SEO like that, we probably could have gotten some better questions. But oh well, next time. Anyways, I will see you all for the next one. Stop recording that. And how about we... what was I gonna say? Oh, how about we watch ISC from last week? I haven't gotten to see it yet, so I figured we could check out whatever Inside Star Citizen's CitizenCon was. Or whatever CitizenCon's Inside Star Citizen was. This might be hard to answer. Is Star Citizen considered just an amazing game, or is it a living virtual universe? Can we escape our universe for SC similar to Tron? Definitely not yet. Maybe someday in the future. But as of right now, no. Yeah, the HUD needs to be clean, and I think the new one's pretty clean. Can't wait for base building. You want to explore for minerals, stake a claim on backwater worlds, and exploit the resources with friends. Possibilities are limitless with base building. I hope it goes well, base building. I hope whatever they do with it, it feels serious and rewarding enough to be worth it, but it's also risky and kind of variable enough, you know, to be like Star Citizen. They like to throw consequence in based on your choices in this game. People have had their heads scanned. Whether that puts them into the universe remains to be seen. Still not sure that base building is going to be worth it with A2s abounding. Well, I mean, they're making the game, right? Do you think that they would just put a ship in the game that could just ruin an entire swath of both gameplay and potential monetization and just be like, oh, wow, we've got bombers in the game. Oh, well. They'll figure that out. Oh, you're in this one, Abdi? Dope, dude. Good to see you. Welcome. How's it going, man? I think Chachi Sanchez could also get a shout out in chat on Twitch. Check out Abdi, though, in chat, guys. During one of the few interviews with Zane, they took questions. They took a question that you submitted. Still remember that to this day. What was the question? As long as we keep saying, take your time, guys, they're going to keep taking their time. Don't think it's a coincidence that this year they had huge sales dip and this CitizenCon they turned hype to 11. There's no way you think that they prepared this whole CitizenCon because of a sales dip. We saw the beginnings of what we were seeing here last year. Personally, I'm going to tell them to keep taking their time. If they tell me that they want to get Squadron 42 out by the end of the next year, I'm going to say no. Take another year. Take your time. Don't freaking string us along for 10 years working on this and then suddenly at the last 2 years don't take your time. No way. No freaking way. They've got one chance to do this. If they mess this up, Star Citizen won't have sequels. Squadron 42 won't have sequels. CIG probably won't exist as big a company as it does right now. This is it. They made major key decisions about the CitizenCon based on their huge sales dip, 100%. If you believe that's fine. You do think the Pyro demo was due to the sales dip? They had to show something that earned some faith. I think the Pyro demo is definitely because they haven't been able to show Pyro. 100%. The Pyro's a marketing, like, is not really testing or anything. You play too many games that release too early that people are like, oh yeah, it could use more time in the oven. Dude, Cyberpunk could have been so good. Man, if that game wasn't rushed out, that could have been so good. But I bet you there was somebody saying, hey, you announced this 10 years ago, you need to release this. How was y'all's date over the weekend? Our date? We had a lovely time. I don't know if we had a specific announced date, but I made a lovely soup dinner. Software devs decided to make things work because they were worried. The only thing you think caused was by sales was a little conversation about getting new people in to design the ships. Oh, for sure. Yeah, the ship talk when they talked about all the sales people or the ship people leaving and the backlog they needed to get done and how they were going to do it, that definitely felt like a direct reaction to how people are feeling about the backlog for sure. I get you there. Cyberpunk is really good though. Would it have been as good if they hadn't pushed it out earlier? Yes. Yes, it would have been much better. You know why? Because if they had waited another year to push it out, we probably would have gotten a DLC instead of a bunch of patches to fix the game. And then on top of that DLC, they would have released another because they already planned on releasing another, just like they did with The Witcher. And then on top of that, they probably also would have been considering their multiplayer title for Cyberpunk. But all that went out the door because they had to fix the game. And it would have been better if they had just released it. And it was what it should have been. I don't think it was still good when it released. I put out my video about my opinions on it. I explained as much. Suffers from a lot of the problems that Starfield suffers from when it comes to trying to make an RPG. Didn't feel entirely like one. Felt more like an action-adventure game, which I think they sold it as when they did release it. And the one mission that they used to advertise the way that your choices would influence the game was probably one of the most influential missions in the game. So, no. Considering the bar that was set for that game, I don't think it was good on release. I think it's pretty good now. Still not a deep RPG, but if they had just worked on it instead of pushing it out fast, I think it would have been better. It's not that crazy. I just don't think that they did that with the CitizenCon. I think they made some changes, but I don't think that... I think this CitizenCon still was planned to show the stuff that they had showed. How much of the game needs to be ready for them to release it? You mean Star Citizen? I don't know. I don't think they're too far off if server meshing was working. A few more years, more of the basic functionality. Like, they don't need base building to release this game. What's wrong with making your player base happy? It's good for business. Alright, let's check this out. ISC behind CitizenCon. Maybe we'll get some of our answers here.
It's the morning. Before things get started, people are still asleep in their beds. The beginning of day 2. We've never done a day 2 before. But the glamorous hosting life out front is nothing compared to the draining and exhausting life behind the scenes. Let's take a tour of the production area when nobody is here and nothing is working, including my voice. Do I have to crouch? I can't see where my head's at. When I talk to me, just go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside Star Citizen. For years, we have wanted to do a true behind-the-scenes look at the making of CitizenCon. We've never been able to do it, but now, thanks to the lovely assistance of Tom and David. Say hello, Tom and David.
Hello, Tom and David.
We are here at the LA Convention Center, and it is Wednesday, October 18th. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going to take a look at the progress, or rather lack thereof. These things really do come together in the last minute of the LA Convention Center. So let's go inside and take a look. We are here at the big lobby. You might recognize this from all those videos you watched before. We're heading into West Hall, which is Petrie Hall. That's the hall that we are inhabiting this week. We are here inside Hall A. This is an awfully big room. This is where the main stage will be, and the roughly 3,000 people that are in attendance to watch CitizenCon, all the presentations, the stuff that we've been working very hard on for the last several months.
Anybody in chat get to help during this process? Setup and stuff? I know people were there for a while. Long days.
This is where the main action of CitizenCon comes. This is where the community booths, the pyro playground, the dragonfly,
it's a lot less derelict in there.
Check in here in a little bit as more progresses. Running out of gas. So this is the part you never see. This is the pyro playground before the pyro playground. This is the room where we set up all 150 computers, plus quite a few spares and quite a few alternates. This is a massive undertaking We're the first playable pyro here at CitizenCon. These are the true heroes, the people from IT and the people from player experience.
Who are you? What are you doing? I'm an IT systems engineer here at Cloud Games, and I am setting up the Pyro Playground, helping Ahmed with the servers.
Hi, Ahmed.
From my perspective, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I'm sure Miles' team
By the
has had
way,
a few surprises they've had to
we
deal with.
we talked about this before CitizenCon, that they might try to do a demo like they did with 3.0. And the 3.0 demo they did, it was the same thing. They gave us a geographically cut segment of what they wanted to have in 3.0. They let us play it in timed segments on different things in an online environment where we could interact with other players as freely as we wanted. But this demo, I think, was a lot better because, well, the game is better. But it felt like it was, well, I guess I won't say it was a lot better. I didn't get to play that first one. But it was good. It was substantial. I think it was a good move on their part. But then, man, this felt so much like the pre-3.0 CitizenCon. Just the same kind of vibes and stuff like that.
Ahmed has had a few bumps as well, but we're other than that, we're smooth along pretty well.
This is where we call the command center. Command center is where all the actual important people who put this stuff together, Leah, Tyler, all them, that's where they kind of hold out and they address all the different issues that come up throughout the day. We're not allowed in there because there's some people who don't like to be on video. And so we're going to respect their privacy. But imagine a big room with tables and chairs and lots of laptops. You've seen it. We'll see if we can't bring some people out and have them tell you about what they're doing.
I'm Jake. I'm a community manager for Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
We are here at the Los Angeles Convention Center.
Had a freaking great time with both Jake and Dan there. Everybody who was from CIG at this place was just a joy to hang out with.
CitizenCon 2953, the first in-person CitizenCon since 2019.
It's exciting, honestly, and I can't wait to see what it looks like in a few more days.
I think it's going to be double in
Got to meet all these folks too.
Before.
Love you all.
So this is going to be super amazing.
But today's the first day where we're kind of all in the convention hall, putting everything together, and just seeing this stuff come to life is very, very cool so far.
Construction has begun, so it's we're starting to see things take shape, which is really exciting.
It feels crazy to walk in there and see how massive the space is when you first walk in there. It's very echoey, it's very big. So during CitizenCon, I'm actually the interstitial host of the Twitch stream. So my co-host is Jared. He's fine. You know, his writer is really intense. You know,
okay,
like the single trailer.
Wait. See, I missed this. Everybody keeps talking about with the cloth tech, the cloth tech demo, and how it's Jared. I never saw this. This must have been on the stream before the cloth tech demo when I was not watching. This adds so much context to why people kept saying Jared during that part, and I'm just like, why is everybody watching this person get their medical gown fondled and they're just saying Jared over and over? Context matters.
He's fine.
Oh, that was after the demo?
You know, his writer is really intense. You know, like the single trailer just filled with beef sticks is a little much, but like, you know, it's Jared, we let him be.
Hey, for anybody who was on my stream when we were at CitizenCon, we were streaming and we got quite a few complaints from people saying that there was like shaking and jittering. Was it like this? What you were just seeing here? That sort of weird vibration effect? Because that's the auto stabilization being a problem. So we can fix that if that was the problem, but I didn't know if what exactly people were seeing.
So it's day 2 of setup. We're starting to recognize the things that we've only seen in concepts leading up to the big show. And so I think it's just super exciting for everybody to see it all finally coming to life. So I'm part of the core event leadership team that's been planning this event for many, many, many months. And I can't tell you just how rewarding it is to see everything coming to life. I think for a lot of us, we're just as excited, if not more, than the attendees for CitizenCon.
We've had a number of technical issues, not uncommon to a big event like this. The severe power issue that took about 6 hours to track down, which we finally resolved, but it set us behind. So we're now just going to test our first content on the screen. I believe we're going to start with Graham.
Audio can play a crucial role in the immersion.
Graham is the only pre-recorded video, so he'll be a good test for sync because we're going to see if the sound that comes out of the speakers matches the words that are coming out of his mouth.
Probably a good call to make the audio one pre-recorded, but I'm guessing that's because he couldn't be there.
My name is Michael Smith, also known as Bayor. I'm the director of the player experience team, and we are setting up the Pyro Playground.
Woody, we actually have a gyro handle on the stream. It was our first time using it. That's specifically why I'm asking, because I'm wondering if our gyro handle was interacting with the stabilization of the phone itself, and if that might have been the problem that people were seeing. This is an ISC from last week, yes, behind the scenes with CitizenCon.
Ground right now. This one room, which is one of 2 rooms, is bigger than I think we've ever done with CitizenCon. We have 150 computers behind me, complete with all their mice and keyboards. 10 of those are set up with some VKB peripherals, left and a right stick. We also have Tobii eye trackers on 100 of the PCs.
It's allowing people to try it out if they haven't already. And they're able to experience, increased immersion in Star Citizen.
I'm sort of responsible to make sure that the demo that the players get to experience here is playable, it's fun, that it transitions pretty smoothly for each of the little sessions they get to play.
It's actually kind of funny. When I was there and I was trying Pyro, I want to try VKB HOTAS. And I guess I would have had the chance being there and playing, but I didn't sit at a computer with the VKBs. I've literally never played the game with one of those, only the T16s, which I enjoy, but I think those are a little higher quality VKB. And I was interested in demoing them out, but I completely forgot to check it. I had an eye tracker, which was cool, but I was on the good old mouse and keyboard.
Just understanding that gameplay experience.
We're here in the LA Convention Center. It's chaos, as always, but good chaos. In 2018, we built a full-size Dragonfly for Austin CitizenCon. Chris Law from the ship team has done a whole new skin. The Dragonfly initially took 3 months to build. It's taken 4 or 5 days to repaint it, and it'll take us about 3 hours to put it back together. We built the Dragonfly for you guys to actually come and sit on. It's a great photo op. If you're here at CitizenCon in the flesh, you can come on, 1 or 2 people can sit on it, as inverse, forward, backwards, whatever you like. So you can come here, get a photo, memories forever.
Okay, I'm gonna be a TikTok star. Ready, go. Drake.
As we walked in for the first time today, we could see our 30-foot banner. Atmo is actually here to bring a live tournament experience to CitizenCon. We're very excited. There's been 6 very hard years from the demo rally to Atmo Esports to actually come for the first time at the CitizenCon and put together a live tournament experience, not only for the fans, but for the competitors and the creators that are going to be competing. And I know when they come here, they're also going to be pretty impressed with what we've done to put together here.
You know, for me, it's been 4 long years without us being able to connect with our community in person. And I really can't stress just how much it means to us to be able to spend time with our audience in person. I think with any live event, and we've done a lot of these CitizenCons, there's always fires that have to be put out. Comparatively, though, things are going pretty smooth this year. And I'm probably going to regret saying that in like 15 minutes when one of these walls falls over on me.
Poor Tyler. Tyler hurt himself during the event. I really hope he has a swift recovery, but this man was all over the place. He was constantly talking. He was meeting people. He gave me I don't have it with me. He gave me one of these cool Star Citizen black cards and keep it in my wallet, you know, just in case I need to whip it out on somebody at a restaurant or something. You know what I back? Huh? You a citizen? No, but he gave a pretty cool little thing. Came and talked to us for a bit. Then he was off to another group. Then I saw him at another group later that night. And then the next morning he was taking video and he was like escorting different people elsewhere. He was just a lot of hard work. And that's all I saw from him, all of them, a whole weekend. It was really well done. And like he said, there weren't that many problems. Like I've watched these Citizen Cons and there's almost always tech problems. I put one in my video to make light of it. And yeah, they do it well. No wall fell on him. Thank God. He's okay from that. Nothing fell on him from what I know. But yeah, he that hard work, man. I hope they get good rest.
When we're coming together in events like this, we can actually, connect faces and handles, and it's kind of like coming together as a family again.
Being able to put
I recognize these people.
To a lot
hey, did I just see Bishop in there? I just saw the purple hat. Where is that? Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Is that a Bishop purple hat there?
To a lot of the names that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, I think honestly is the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to the most.
Never seen so many beards in LA.
Talk to backers and people who played the game.
They were straight up just full on.
Being able to talk to backers.
This was not uncommon to see. I mean, I'm guessing many of you have been to cons, so you know that, but I didn't know that. Just a lot of very well put together like costumes and booths too. You can kind of see in the background
and
here.
People who played the game directly was amazing.
It was super rewarding, just the conversations that I had with a lot of our backers, both at the event and also the kind of after party.
Hall B was really cool. I remember first seeing it on the Friday morning before it was even finished and just being so impressed with all the dressing in there.
There's so much cool stuff to show. I want to make sure it all gets to be shown. And so that's my biggest worry, is that we're not going to have time to show all the cool stuff.
There was like a meet and greet area. The esports stuff was there.
Hey, these guys put in the work too. Crucian, Croncy, and Meyer. All of them make content. Check them out online if you haven't already. But good work from these guys and the Atmo team.
It was quite cozy, which was a nice feeling. Cozy, which was a nice feeling.
It was quite cozy. Okay. The room where it happened, though. Hey, like my Hamilton reference.
First moment on stage, kind of sank in a little bit of how large an event it was going to be.
Once you actually get ready to go on stage for real, that's when the nerves kick in.
Being the only person on stage with that many eyes on you
with
was very new.
Freaking a river on your shirt. All hail water guy.
And
when is he going to be lava guy? He's evolving.
Scary.
Hello everyone, I'm Will Hain. I'm here to talk about water in Star Engine.
I was having a good time, but watching it back, I'm talking really fast.
We were excited. The crowd seemed to be buzzing from what we were showing. And yeah, just lots of positive energy.
Yo! Wait! Was that us?
To be buzzing from what we were showing. And yeah, just lots of positive
No, it's not us. Never mind. Sorry, false alarm. My bad. Let's keep going. That's awkward.
We got a lot of positive feedback from the crowd. There's a lot of big cheers.
It was, in a way, all this build-up, and then it was over.
It kind of was a bit of a blur.
Then obviously a huge sense of relief once I was
That's how it
done.
feels. It's like you must have. They're just like going off over here.
It kind of was a bit of a blur.
Then obviously a huge sense.
Did I miss this part? What is this
I was
part?
actually done.
Seems to have been well received, which has been really great.
I'd definitely do it again, for sure.
It looked like our angle, you know, but I guess they took video from the other angle.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to CitizenCon 2953.
Water guy. I just passed the garden shot. What was the garden shot when we were celebrating? Not very clear, is it? That was back here.
Really fast.
Seems to have been.
All right, I don't think you can really see anything there.
It was a bit of a blur.
Then obviously a huge sense of relief once.
Yeah, we're like right here. I think you can see more Frey here, or Sylvan maybe. But this is, I see Dregor right here. There's like, we had these like 4 rows. So it was kind of cool because we got to see all of the devs like right here on the side. I do not remember this happening. When was this? When were they over here cheering like that? Was that at the end? Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see you guys. I can make you guys out. Separate faces. You're all a little bit blurry here. But yeah, here you go. Here you guys are. Cool. The garden. You can't spot me. I'm covered up. This is when you stepped out for pyro. Oh, what? No. Was it? No, that was during the... Well, I guess that was server meshing. Maybe if they were cheering after that. CR just walked off. Okay, so this was after the server meshing demo. Yeah, I missed this. Bummer. Well, that's cool. It was very cool to be here for this anyways.
That was actually done.
Seems to have been well received. Which
we
has
were
been
there?
Really great.
I'd definitely do it again.
I just blacked out?
For sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to CitizenCon 2953. It works.
I have a problem.
Did you go ahead, phone? Keep zooming in.
I have a problem. I've watched this footage and I just want to go back and watch it more. I just like watching a Star Citizen that I am really looking forward to. And now that I've seen all this, I'm like, well, can we just have this now?
Thank you for joining us for CitizenCon. Come back tomorrow.
Hey, I saw an Abdi.
Thank you for joining us for CitizenCon. Come back tomorrow.
Yo, look at this beautiful smile back here. Gorgeous man. Check out the Soul Citizens, guys, if you have not. Good people.
We are here with members of the vehicle team.
We've been working on this for so long, and seeing the reactions of people in the auditorium is going to be something that I'm going to carry with me, probably for the rest of my life.
Oh, Chris.
Thank you guys very, very much.
That's a little bit about the behind the scenes of CitizenCon, how that gets put together. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with normal shows next week. So from CitizenCon on the show floor, while
Dad
everybody else
Lando
is cleaning up and I'm doing this.
Yeah, he was sitting here. They were sitting. I mean, after the event, after everything was done, they were sitting here seeing people, talking to people, shaking hands, taking pictures. This is the chance I got to say hi to Lando. I also talked to him for a while about Squadron 42, and honestly, I think that was the best part of CitizenCon overall, was just being there in person, being able to just casually chat with folks who are working on something that you put so much time into. Whether you're someone who wants to express how much you enjoy what they're doing and how much you love it, or you're somebody who is skeptical and wants to get from literally their face themselves some kind of word on something you're wondering about, it's super nice to be there to be able to do that. I'm not. I'm advocating very strongly for people to go. Not like if you're not in the position to do so, but like if you're on the fence and you're a big fan of this game, I'd encourage it. Yeah, a lot of folks out there from Soul Citizens, Meg, Fastheart, Griff, Subvegio. I actually don't know that name. Big Black Gaming, Gomab. The whole crew. Honestly, I love it at Soul Citizens. Regular Twitch streams, regular YouTube videos, regular meetups in the Discord, and a great community. If you haven't already gotten to be a part of it, I'd check it out. They were champs. They were taking pictures and signing things for a long time. They were. And it was also not just the community folks. It was like the devs themselves too. Hoping to make it next year. That'd be cool, Echo.
This is Jared Huckabee saying thanks for watching, and I was going to say see you in the verse, but that was the old show. Oh, thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you. We'll see y'all here next week.
What did we learn?
Forgot my catchphrase.
What did we learn this? What does he mean? The catchphrase is, what did we learn this week? Jared. A shame. So yeah, that's UI. We didn't touch on this. Why didn't we touch on the Mobiglas? It peeves me. You'll go when it's in Austin. Who knows? Maybe next year will be in Austin. They're looking for a more affordable location than they did this year. I don't know what that means, to be honest, but they got plenty of complaints about the cost of LA. Can confirm LA is expensive. You would like go out for a drink with the group, and you're like, okay, so who wants to? Yeah, it's just LA is expensive. Manchester is also expensive. Austin, not as much. Montreal, also not as much. So we'll see what they do. Nothing is written in stone. I did think it was going to be Manchester, but you know, it sounds like different reasons why they might consider going out of order to maybe make next year's event a little bit more accessible for people. Because like you guys saw the prices of the tickets this year. People complained about it. Maybe we don't want to have as expensive as an event. They need to do it in Boston. No offices in Boston, unfortunately. The Smash Burger cost just as much in LA as it did in the airport. Somebody told me they got like a $16 burger from Smash Burger or something. Planes will always be expensive, but planes don't really factor into ticket prices. Poland is cheap. Germany could be possible, but that might be an issue. There's also, considering Manchester, England had COVID restrictions this year during CitizenCon, which if it had been in Manchester instead of Los Angeles, probably would have complicated the event. So you kind of got to think about if that might happen again next year. They might not want to have to deal with those complications. Yeah, Montreal would be great. That'd be cool. Austin would be cool too. I know a lot of people down there. That would be very easy for a lot of folks to go to. Right. When I'm talking about expense for these cities, we're talking no plane tickets, everything at a flat cost, everything with the same currency. Some places are just things cost more, you know, despite the currency differences. Like it would cost more to have a convention in Manchester than in Winslow. That's what I'm saying. Come to Spain. Hey, if I could make the call, we'd go somewhere different every year. That's just... It's too much fun not to do. I'm surprised nobody asked any questions about, like, the ping feature. But I guess a lot of what we want to know about ping is more the gameplay side, not the UI side. Germany is closer to where you're from. They've done them in Germany before, so it is a possibility. What do you guys think of this Mobiglas? Big enough change, not a big enough change, too much big change? I kind of wish they had kept the color darker. I think if we look at last year's Mobiglas, the Squadron 42 one, I think the blue was darker. Looked better in my opinion. You think CitizenCon is gonna get so big that it kind of has to be multiple venues? It does feel like it's gonna be too big next year. This one already was very big. So this was what we saw last year. Yeah, definitely much different color. I like this design more. It feels a little bit more segmented. This feels a little loose, you know, down on the bottom. There's not much of these like guiding lines. This older one that they showed us. It looks better. I think it's fine, just want the heavy armor to stop obscuring your Mobiglas. Oh man, is that still a glitch we have? It'd be cool if you could change the transparency of your Mobi. Since it's just light though, I don't know how they would explain that. Yeah, I appreciate that there's a little bit more color in this one, but it is very monotone. I agree there. Any change to the Mobi would be great. Just a performance change would be good. Chachi, you're gonna go lunch. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. I kind of want to jump back into this and talk a little bit more about the UI. I think we've got some time. Let's see. Yeah, we've got a little bit of time here. So I will be right back. I'm going to let Zane get into his presentation here about this, and we'll go back through the UI a little bit. Be all right. Back, everybody.
And make sense of the world around us. Without these systems in place to catalog our experiences and to chart our journeys, we are forever lost amidst our own environment, and we are just running around aimlessly. This is why it is super important that you, as citizens of our ever-growing, ever-evolving, persistent universe, are equipped with the tools necessary to make your ventures meaningful. So, with that said, I want to show you something that I think is extremely cool. So, Bone, our next objective is to go to the map kiosk and download a terminal. Let's go ahead and activate it. What you see on screen, zoom out a bit, what you see on screen is a fully live 3D representation of the environment that we are in. You can see callouts of the various default points of interest. You can pan the map around, you can rotate it, and you can even cycle the floors that you're on to isolate the visuals of the floor that you're on. So our current objective, it's much more interesting if we can actually take this on the go. So let's download it to our data bank. As you'll notice, we now have the representation of the environment in the upper left corner of our visor. Now, the thing that's really interesting to note at this point is not all environments will have such a convenient kiosk available. You may encounter run-down settlements, or you might come across a cave that no one else has ever set foot on before. What will happen in this instance is your radar will incrementally update your map, and it will incrementally reveal your environment and just save that to your data bank. So you kind of reveal it incrementally. So this map, what we see in the upper left corner of our visor, is not really just a map. What it really is actually data. It's our radar. And we can see contacts on our radar as we scan.
Hold on a second.
And
let me go back real quick.
Map.
What is this?
What it really is actually data. It's our radar. And we can see...
Is that a mission marker?
And save that to your data bank. So you kind of reveal it incrementally.
Huh. It's just blinking up there.
This map, what we see in the upper left corner of our visor, is not really just a map. What it really is actually data. It's our radar. And we can see contacts on our radar as we scan. And it's basically what we have available in stored in our data bank. So because we have the location data saved to our data bank, we can obviously access that via our Mobiglas. So let's go ahead and pull it up in our Mobiglas, because this is going to get really interesting.
Maps and data should be an admin center. Makes sense, yeah. There is a lot of the same color. I love that there are little splashes of color like we can see here with the notification, but yeah, more diverse color would be appreciated, like yellows, oranges. There's a yellow up here. Yeah, like contrasting colors to blues would be nice. I love when they pipe in the crowd after a little while and they realize, oh, everyone's cheering this on. We should let folks know that. So I want to go to the question and answer thread for this Star Citizen Live. Unless somebody was waiting for something to come up just now. Like if I just cut off what you were excited to see, let me know. But I wasn't planning on watching that all the way through. Admin can be hard to find sometimes. That sounds like a problem on its own, huh? Oh, this isn't loading. Nope, Spectrum's not loading. So I guess... Okay, there. Now it is. Where do they put these threads? I want to see if there were questions that just weren't answered. Are those threads gone? Anybody know what threads that's in on Spectrum? Announcements? Arrow channel, mission ready. Nope, 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 nope. Not in there. Tech support, off topic. No? I'm alone on this one? Alright, forget it then. You don't like the idea of the quest marker or auto-pathing at all? Part of SC Charm is having to actually find your way around the world. You're the guy that turns off the minimap in every game. Yeah, I think they'll allow people to turn those off. Well, I'm gonna look at the Zeus Q&A then, I guess. See what they have to say about this ship. Cool ship, and I wonder what it's bringing to the game. Let's see. Small in the spirit, but its cargo variant holds more than twice the cargo of the C1. More than the Mercury. Why would someone choose a C1 Spirit over the Zeus? Firstly, the Zeus CL cargo variant has 3 times size 2 shields. The 4 times size 2 shields are reserved for the ES exploration. We'll be discussing this more in the near future, but due to the upcoming changes of components to support the resource network, we'll be doing a big rebalance of item numbers on numerous existing ships, so expect other ships to see their numbers change. Did they say specifically why they were redoing the components? Is it just for redundancy? So that we don't run out of stuff when our things stop working? Secondly, the Spirit is much more agile and has a higher top speed than the Zeus Mk2, favoring maneuverability and not getting hit over raw SCU carrying capacity. During production, however, we've managed to get the C1 Spirit to 64 versus the proposed 48 SCU. What's the range of the QED, and is it a snare or a dampener? Range will be similar to the one found on the Drake Cutlass Blue, but it's not a snare. It's just a dampener. Wonder how much that gameplay is going to improve, you know? They kind of take these things that I think aren't going to be super big and they expand them a lot. And they're putting a lot of effort into quantum dampening and quantum interdicting and EMPs. And at some point, they're probably going to reveal some pretty major gameplay surrounding that. Because right now, those ships just don't... Nobody really minds them that much. Is it able to travel through small jump points, making it the current largest cargo ship to do so? Likely yes, though there are a lot of changes coming regarding jump points and their sizes and restrictions, as the design has evolved significantly since it was first discussed. Expect more info on this as we get closer to Alpha 4.0. So yeah, I guess they're going to have a lot of things to explain about how jump points work. Except till now, we just assumed them. But the details and everything, we don't actually know. I guess as we get closer to 4.0 this year, that's going to be a hot topic. Well, next year. Why do prisoner boxes need extra space? Is it possible to place them on a normal cargo grid? Answer being they can be stored in cargo grids, but take up a relatively large volume and items cannot be stacked on top of them. Probably for the best. The prisoner pod area in the MR allows them to be stored in a more efficient meat rack format. Okay. Meat rack. Are there any escape pods? Yes, they are the beds, ejecting out the bottom. The room opposite the armory in the MR looks empty. What is its function? It's for armor suits, locker, and storage. That's... yeah, that makes sense. What is the top speed? They don't know yet. They just know it'll be slower than the C1. Rest assured, they're saying to C1 owners, don't worry. This one will be slower. You're fine. As the Explorer variant will have more shields, will the Bounty Hunter variant have significantly heavier armor to compensate? That's probably, yeah. That's a yes. Does the Zeus have fuel recovery? Yeah, they have fuel intakes for hydrogen. Is the top remote turret pilot controlled? The gunner seat will control the bottom turret, and the co-pilot will control the top turret. And there's your 3 players, I guess. Which is why this ship takes more than the C1 does. 2 versus 3. Will our ships ever maintain momentum when coming out of QT? I don't know. They do sometimes, but it's a glitch. Don't know if they're meant to or not. I don't think so. You like this variant, the CL with the stripes on it? Yeah, I don't know. It looks a little bit weird from the front. Kind of looks a little bit Terrapin with this silhouette. What are the intended roles for each of the 3 crew members? That's literally what I just mentioned. Regarding the bridge seats, one is a dedicated pilot seat and the others are co-pilot and gunner specifically. In terms of roles, we don't want to lock players to set roles within ships, so whilst naturally one player would be flying the ship, the other 2 are free to assist in navigation, defense via turrets, offense via missile operator mode, EMP, quantum dampening, or deal with engineering issues that arise. You got all 3 of the ships. Yeah, the Connie's a better ship than this, right? Use case wise, it feels like it has more space for components and people. Does the Zeus have an external docking collar? There is indeed an airlock with our small metric docking collar with a ground ladder access in the room to its right, providing a second and third entrance to the ship respectively. This isn't that much smaller than a Constellation, huh? So yeah, there's like, I think, a docking collar here on the left side of it. And there's like a ladder entrance to go down. So yeah, there's your Zeus CL, or your Zeus MK2. I wasn't really planning on going over that, but that was here. I was mainly here for UI stuff, and we talked UI stuff up to the heights. So I hope you got something out of that. Appreciate y'all being here for this one today, though. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in before we wrap things up. We could just chat for a bit. Hard to beat the Taurus cargo capacity. What does the Taurus carry? You like Twitch better than YouTube to watch streams? YouTube needs to work on that. You're going to get the Clipper. It's looking like a great small hauler. MSR stays for data running, Clipper for cargo. Bonus points that it looks badass with the Solstice skin. Fair. You're off to jump on a work call. Wanted to pop in here and tell you appreciate the editing skills. Thank you. Thanks for hopping in. Best of luck on the call. 174 in the Taurus versus like 120 something from the from the Clipper. Yeah, YouTube is weird. The reason they don't put chat on the side of the video doesn't make sense. A Nomad variant? What kind of variant would you want from a Nomad? Hey, appreciate you. Glad you like the videos. Thanks so much for coming and watching the streams too. Don't use theater mode when using chat on YouTube videos. I want to watch the video in larger. A medical variant of the Kraken. That sounds a little bit like overkill. Can I say a big thanks to Colt Kimber, Mr. Uncool, Colt Kimber twice. Thank you, Colt. And Elephant Crunch. So thank you for the support today, folks. I missed those subs. I'm very sorry. There's also people who are getting redemptions for our A1 Spirit giveaway. Still giving away an A1 Spirit, folks. That's coming up soon, ending in about 5 days later this week. So get in some tickets, get some points towards that. Anybody who's on Twitch, you're just accruing points to get in. But there are also other ways to enter the giveaway. So exclamation point giveaway or spacetomatogaming.com/giveaways will take you there. We also, I think I already mentioned, Greenhouse is coming out on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that, guys. And the server announcement with all of our events that are coming up this week, if you are interested in getting in any of them, just went out too. Nothing overkill about a Kraken. You're just a Drake hater. Woe is me. Thoughts on the rumored Mirai heavy fighter that will rival the Vanguard? You prefer an Anvil over Mirai? I know nothing about that. That's an interesting one though. Mirai heavy fighter. Abdi, thanks for hanging out for the stream, man. I hope your streams are going well recently too. Hope you're enjoying it. All these RSI ships, man. I'm starting to get sick of RSI. They are the oldest company. Bishop, it was good seeing you today. I'll catch you around. Have a good lunch. I'm guessing people are assuming that it's that large silhouette that we had in the ship talk video. That people are saying is this one. Whoops. Yeah. People think this is a large Mirai heavy fighter. I don't see any big guns on it. Just happy to chill with friends. Yo, that's the energy right there. Can't wait for the Perseus. Perseus was not in here, was it? Was it the Perseus or the Galaxy that they included in here? This is the, we don't know what this is. Right. Legionnaire. Zeus. Retaliator. Polaris. They didn't even have it on here. Never mind. Perseus and Galaxy were not included. Did I notice the non-helmet UI they showed? Maybe? Might not remember it though. You'd love a Valkyrie variant, maybe cargo. That'd be cool. A cargo variant for the Valkyrie would be solid. Polaris Galaxy Perseus, yeah. Polaris Galaxy Perseus. They're boring and samey. In one of the CitizenCon demos, they had a player without a helmet and the UI was different. Hopefully very different. I hate that there's not really too much that tells me right now if I have a helmet on. There's some of it, but not all of it. And you guys know me. I suffer from non-helmetitis. There it is. Helmets in chat. They just need to stop artificially gimping the Valkyrie cargo at 30 and let it fit 90 and it would be fine. Yeah, they've got a problem on their hands with the Valkyrie there. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they have plans for it. I don't know. Minimap helps. Yeah. I think compass and altimeter kind of stuff would help too. I don't know. RSI ships, I like RSI ships. I like some of their ships. Obviously, they look pretty similar in some cases, but I think they've got their uniqueness to them. When was the last roadmap roundup? Was that 2 weeks ago? Are we due for one this week? Last one was on the 1st, yeah, so we should be getting another one in a couple days. Now they're still delivering 3.21. We need to get the vehicle tractor beams, the ship trespassing feature, the data heist missions, the Crusader C1, the Storm, the SRV, and the replication layer split. And that's what we need to see between now and probably... Who the heck knows? I mean, this 321 3.1 is kind of supposed to be the IAE update, I'm assuming. But the replication layer split, as far as we know, isn't in the PTU. Neither is the storm. So I'm guessing the storm will just go straight to live. And I don't think the data heist missions are there either. Or ship trespass. But that's tentative. Maybe that'll get pushed to 22. But yeah, there's stuff missing here that is supposed to be in a patch that I don't think is going to come later than next week. Oh, ship trespass is in? It's in the PTU, it's working? That's right, yeah. No, it was... I came across that. So that's 321, and then next month, we should be getting 322. The hair update. The new version of Salvage. Inventory updates. Aopoa Santok Yai, Origin X1 series. The Dusters faction. Maybe a couple other things. You're not getting some kind of junkyard missions? Not that I know of. Were you expecting that? Data heist mission is in too. Cool. Okay, that's good. I need to try that one out. I would love data running too. Data running seems like it's going to add a lot of functionality to the game, which will be cool. 3.21.1 was... I was thinking this week, but I don't know. You want a place to bring straight space trash. Oh, you mean like with the Argo SRV? Hoping for missions to like turn things into junk? Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that. I don't think that's happening. Will Dusters be on all systems or just certain planets and moons? They're in the Stanton system. Don't know which specific places, though. Linking up things before tractoring them, like in Shipbreakers. Shipbreakers is a great salvage game. Think they'll hold off and just do a mini patch for IAE? I think they would just put the replication layer separation off. Drop 321.1 with the stuff that's there, and delay the replication stuff to 322. Yeah, Crusader needs more entrances around their ships, for sure. They really do. Tractor beams are ready. They're in the game. They've even seen some polish over the course of PTU. Sound effects are better and stuff. I'm trying to get a video out on tractor beams sometime this week. Maybe tomorrow. Probably, if not tomorrow, then Wednesday. And that'll talk a little bit more about the improvements that have come to them and what they're doing with them and stuff. The core item under 321 would be the replication layer split. That's what I'm saying might get delayed. Yeah, the Cutlass Black's going to need some help on its tractor beam placement. Some of these ships will. All right, y'all. I think it's time for us to call it for the day. But what do y'all say we link back up tomorrow and do something? This has been nice, you know? Never too much talking about Star Citizen in a week. So I'm going to send you all over to another person doing some Star Citizen stuff. Looks like Montoya's online. Who knows what he's doing. But I'll swing you all over that way. It's good fun to talk to. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I hope you got to learn something, some UI stuff. Enjoyed the non-technical issues stream. We're back to full functionality. Somebody knock on some wood for me. But thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate you. Have a good one, y'all. Yeah, I think I've done all my announcements and stuff. I've been announcing stuff all day, so not much else to do. I appreciate your support. I'm always Super happy to have so many people to talk to about good Star Citizen stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow. Check out the Discord for stream updates. And have yourselves a great day, everybody. Bye. Give someone a hug. See you later.